This is the most important moon of 2026. And we also have Chiron, the wounded one, conjoined this moon. It feels like a woman's going to step up this month, but particularly near this moon. Well, you may not like Mars because he is the warrior. He's also the hero. There's a lot of asteroids going on in our sky that have all important and powerful meaning. It has a bit of that JFK vibe, all right? If you know what I mean? Like, what were you doing when this happened? The reason I'm wearing pink, it's the heart chakra. And so we've got a very literal wound, Chiron, Aries, war, asteroid, child story that's behind us. On April the 17th, 2026, we are going to have one of the most consequential moons of the entire year. It has intensity, power, and transformation baked into it, but most importantly, it's going to change the face of the world. In each of our lives, we have a beautiful energy for cosmic and personal healing with the star Maiden Astraea hooked right up to this lunation. We have beautiful asteroids to do with like opportunity and a new dawn or a new horizon before us. And we also have Chiron, the wounded one, conjoined this moon. In today's video, we're going to talk about what that might mean for the world and for you. I am talking to you guys as I record this video today on March the 31st, Tuesday, Mars's day. And we're in a time of incredible calamitous fear and anxiety globally about the war that is ongoing in the Middle East and the consequences for the global economy. Now, I do think there's going to be a way to sort of put a monkey wrench into the progress of an escalation upon escalation direction that we seem to be going in. And that's because we have some asteroids like Gong Gong and Volcano that indicate something's going to show up, I believe, that's going to actually kind of catastrophically get our attention, but also maybe stop the wheels of self-destructive momentum in war from continuing to roll forward. And the good news is Mars is going to be in Aries as of the 9th of April, 10th, time zone dependent. The moon is on the 17th. And while you may not like Mars because he is the warrior, he's also the hero. And so there's something trying to happen, and it's quite powerful and maybe even quite positive. Now, in the World Astrology segment today, which will be about 20 minutes, I'll give you an overview of some of my concerns and some of my hopes about what's happening in the world after doing quite a bit of research to make sure that I'm really not just, making up a fairy tale. And then we're going to talk about your sign. When we get to your sign, I'm wanting you to know that there's this beautiful archetype called the star maiden Astraea. She takes a while, like 4 years, to go around the zodiac, from 3 months to 6 months in any given sign at any given time because of her elliptical orbit. And if you're born with the star maiden in your chart, it shows where you can be a star, but it also shows where you can be somebody who wishes to serve humanity and to stick up for this planet and its people. So we'll talk about her archetype. I'll be showing you a slide to understand it, a little bit of a cheat sheet for you. There's a lot of asteroids going on in our sky that have all important and powerful meaning, not the least of which is Zeus. Zeus is the king of Mount Olympus. He's sitting right on the sun and moon on the new moon. And there's a lot going on with a particular Zeus-like figure, which is a world leader that's going to galvanize and grab our attention. You can't miss it. You will not be like, oh, what? I didn't hear that news story last week. What are you talking about? No, it has a bit of that JFK vibe. All right. If you know what I mean? Like, what were you doing when this happened? What were you up to when this occurred? And we even have some indications of, that kind of thing. So, but on the other hand, the whole reason I'm liking this month ahead is it's propelling us towards a solution instead of a catastrophic direction globally. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lothian, and if you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. I blend together world astrology with personal each sign, all signs astrology. I love both. I hope you do as well. If you're not into world astrology, just go ahead and listen to your sign. They're all chapters and time-stamped for you, so you don't have to listen to this. But if you do like world astrology, let me know in the comments. I write about it at Substack. which is called the Pluto Chronicles. I put weekly world astrology forecasts out and monthly. So you might want to join me there, where I'm a little bit more unplugged and it's a little bit safer. I have a members only community where I'm also more unplugged here on YouTube. And the lowest tier is $3 American. So come join me over there as well. And you can find me on other platforms like Patreon. So let's get talking about this story. Oh, and if you want to come to free webinars with me, which I do quite often, for the Uranus ingress on the 26th of April into the sign of Gemini, a really big deal. My Gemini video came out a few days ago about your sign and Uranus in Gemini. Go check it out for the first time since, the 1930s, 40s. Go listen to that. But come to my free webinar too. So information about my webinar is in the description box below. We'll be diving into how to use this for your sign, and we'll have Q&A periods as well. So come join me on that freebie. I just ask that you give me a tip if you really liked it with my tip jar after the webinar. If you didn't like it, you don't have to tip me. All right, guys, I'm wearing pink for a reason. This is my summer dress. I dug it out of my suitcase. Yes, it's sunny here, but this is still Canada. It's still, March 31st, pretty chilly. And these funky earrings that I got traveling across the country one time by an indigenous type of the world up in Temagami in Ontario. And the reason I'm wearing pink, it's the heart chakra. I know, I'm sounding a little bit Palm Gregory, but the world is a little hell in the handbasket, and there's two colors for the heart center of our body, green and pink. Pink is one of the more spiritual approaches to the unconditional love of the heart that transcends the human coil and all of its grievances. And Chiron, who's finishing up his long stay in Aries, did I say my name, Lori Lothian? His long stay in Aries, where he's been since 2019, is in a grand finale for the world. And this is where we all feel like we're wounded. It's Aries, which makes it a wound of identity archetypally for the world, feeling like you're wounded in your very essence existentially. And also it's the wounds of war, right? And we saw Asteroid Child tracking with Chiron back in the time when famine was declared in the Middle East in the nation of G, AZA. And so there was a lot of that talk and photos and controversy about lack of food trucks and aid getting in and people basically starving. And so we've got a very literal wound, Chiron, Aries, war, Asteroid Child story that's behind us. And so I'm just trying to point your attention to that Chiron will illuminate the woundedness of some situation connected to Aries, which is war. But Aries is also the hero. Does anybody have anything against the fireman who runs in and saves someone from a burning fire? That's the positive Aries archetype. And that's a positive Mars archetype. Mars is visible. He burned up in the sun's heart on January 9th. He died and was given a new mission instruction. Like if you had an afterlife near-death experience and you got your past life review, and then they said, we're sending you back. You got to go back in. We got a mission for you. That happens to Mars every 2 years. And it happened to him on January 9th. He died in Capricorn and he's born again. And he rose to our visible sky. We could eyeball him in the heavens on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, in the sign of Pisces. So now we can consider Mars got a new lease on life. He's got a new mission. He's young and fit and full of energy because he's been born again. He'll be very tired in April of 2028 when he gets ready to die in the sun in the sign of Aries. So right now we have a vim and vigor, visible Mars coming into his home kingdom on April 9, 10. And then on April 17th, he's going to guide the new moon. I am hopeful. Mars is not malignant. Mars is not a homicidal maniac. Mars is not a mass shooter. Mars is not that guy. That's that guy in his shadow. This is Mars in his home kingdom, visible in our sky, having gotten new mission instructions in Capricorn back in January, where he was born again. Therefore, Mars is capable of bringing a solution to extremely toxic wars. That's what I'm going, okay? Now, I will be showing you the sky very shortly. Okay, I really will. I'm going to show you where every asteroid is, and I'm going to talk about how I think it lines up to the Trump chart, to Donald Trump's natal chart. It's intense and it's potent and it's meaningful for him in particular. In my Substack article that would have come out by the time you see this, it's free. I will be having a segment of the April forecast asking, is he at risk of wellness, risk of life, or risk of holding his position by the end of April. That may not be so. I make a case for it at Substack, and I make a bit of a case for it here. I am Canadian. I am neither Democratic nor Republican, and I am particularly not against or for any of the political parties in the United States. It's a uniparty. But nonetheless, that's true around the world. We're all run by what is the puppeteers of the people we think we vote for and put in power. They're just underneath the puppet strings of people who are above them as well. If you don't know that yet, okay, that's okay. You don't have to think that's true. I'm just letting you know. Now, before I go in and show you how Zeus, the king, which means the world leader, is sitting on the top of this sun-moon conjunction and how that may play out for the world, particularly regarding a leader, let's talk about the star Maiden. Let's talk about that. The star Maiden is a very beautiful archetype to do with she was the last goddess of Mount Olympus to not give up on humanity and stick around to try to help us. They all evacuated and left for wherever planet they came from. And she was like, I'm going to stick around. I want humanity to succeed. I want to be a helper here. And, the archetype is very bodhisattva, meaning, you could leave everyone to their own messy devices, but you want to support people or help them. Second of all, in your own chart is where you can be a star. And she also is connected to the archetype of cosmic justice. So in our lives, star maiden Astraea will be sitting at 29 degrees of the sign of Aquarius with Diana, the huntress, Artemis, the bow shooter, right? Hitting the mark, the independent feminine. I don't know. It feels like a woman's going to step up this month, but particularly near this moon, really step up. I can't think of who could really step up to change the trajectory of what's happening, other than maybe Tulsi Gabbard, who has a lot of planets in Aries. So I'm going to predict if any female leader situation arises where there's a turning point near the moon of the 17th, right? Take 3 or 4 days before, up to 2 weeks after. It's only one I can think of who fits it with her placements in her chart is Tulsi Gabbard, who I believe is a Leo rising based on my chart rectification. Look at that white stripe. She is the head of the Department of Intelligence kind of thing in the United States. We know the spies who tell people what they should do, who are in power because they've got the intel, right? The intelligence, the data. And just in case you think your intelligence community is evil and wrong, that's not true. Anyone who does that doesn't understand that a lot of people who are actually in intelligence care deeply and are working hard for the benefit of their own country and their own people. And I was friends with 2 intelligence people back when I lived near Washington, D.C. in my 30s. And I knew that there were no WMDs. I knew because they knew that there was going to be a war that Bush was going to put in place regarding Iraq. And they were so disencouraged, disenchanted. They both thought about, he had just retired and she thought about leaving her position. She had a big position in the Middle East, guys, really big. Okay. She was important. She was NSA. So there you go. So all said and done. And they're trolling to find out who told me that back in the day. But this is in my 30s, right? This is ancient history. But I knew that there was an engineered war before you guys knew there was an engineered war. So, but there are also people in intelligence who deeply care and are trying to get the truth out. Joe Kent just, exited stage left, trying to tell people alarm bells. And, maybe Tulsi will make a move in near the end of April. Again, I'm not talking about my political affiliation. I'm talking about what the astrology suggests might happen based on the planetary placements of Tulsi having her sun and more in the sign of Aries. And Joe Kent, I believe, has his Mars. Yes, he does. He has his Mars in Aries. So Joe Kent, Mars in Aries, Tulsi Gabbard's sun and more in Aries. These are 2 people highly activated by this lunation. Now, today, we're going to show you the chart about the world stuff, and we're going to move to your sign. I'm going to be focusing on a new beginning, a new dawn, a healing, a possibility of a renewal in your life. That's Astraea. And there's also the possibility of a kind of healing at a deep level. Chiron on this lunation, literally a degree away, right? A degree before the new moon or so. This is where you might have felt like the outsider, the misfit, the abandoned one, or that you also have a mother wound you want to heal, or that there's something in your life where, other than the belonging wounds of Chiron, you need to find the key to purpose. Now, I have a course, Chiron, the key to purpose, and timing your life for Chiron cycles that I gave as a free gift to my members only community here. So if you are wanting to check out $3 a month and grab those Chironic free gifts for my members only, and those same 2 free gifts are available on my lowest tier, even at Patreon, go ahead and get it. I'm going to be really diving a lot into Chiron when he moves into Taurus for a little check out the Taurus of, Earth. later on in June. So we'll be doing a lot more Chiron coming up. So let me show you the screenshotable. Oh, and speaking of Chiron, okay, let me show you the screenshotable, then I'll tell you another Chiron story. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Those subscription clicks, I told you guys, I begged you to subscribe to my channel in December's All Signs videos because I was getting tired and worn down and wasn't sure I wanted to continue. And I don't know if it was me begging, but 8,000 people subscribed after that video series within the next 5 weeks after. I don't want to beg for subscriptions, but it really helps motivate me to keep going. So thank you so much, and keeps the channel's momentum going as well. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something I want you to take a look at and screenshot, because I find that this is the most important moon of 2026. It's going to be a global game changer. Maybe I'll call the video Global Game Changer, Most Important Moon of 2026, which it is. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not faking that, guys. But I want you to take a look at this, and I want you to think about how you might want to use this energy in your own life, because this is what this moon is kicking off, because the star maiden at the end of Aquarius, the sign of the water bearer, the one who pours the healing waters, the angelic human-like form, the humanoid form in Aquarius, it pours the waters of healing upon humanity. The same card that's the star card in the major arcana of the tarot, which can also allow us to all tune into our deepest, like, crown chakra opening, to connect to guides, to connect to dead people who are guiding us, to connect to other dimensions. I'm going very Pam Gregory here. Okay, it's going to be important because it's so precise. Now, the star maiden can only be here in this like end degree of Aquarius every 4 years or so. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you're looking at here. And she's been in the sign of Aquarius, if you want to know, starting on January the 23rd. Alrighty. So, and she leaves on April the 24th. And this is her natural element because, of course, Aquarius is about that energy of the star and the star maiden. So let's share without sharing my messy desktop. I know a lot of people don't know why this happens. Maybe they're editing it out on the back end in post-production now, but it's a glitch between Zoom and the latest software for the Mac. And it's nothing I can do about it. I've called for tech support everywhere. So grab a screenshot. I made this by myself for you guys. And it's just because that's the hope in this moon. This is the hopium in the moon, but it's not hopium or opium of hope. It's real. It's not a fake hope. She's also sitting next to Diana. Exactly. They're holding hands at 29 degrees of Aquarius. So Diana takes aim. She's independent, fierce female. She, wants to do her own thing. It can also be where there's an idea of a star maiden female stepping up to, C-block warmongering men from destroying the world. Okay, you know what a C-block is, right? C-block warmongering men from destroying the world. Look for a heroic feminine energy coming. Venus is very well appointed in her own kingdom at the time, coming onto that Uranus at the tail end of the sign of Taurus. Key astrological meanings of Astraea are here. I hate reading slides, but you get the vibe, right? So innocence is a part of her story. She's like the celestial virgin, very Virgo. So is, by the way, not a virgin, but Artemis / Diana, asteroid on her, is about the feminine who doesn't need to get a husband. She can do her own thing. Take a lover, not take a lover. Be her own woman, right? So you can see intentions, purity, and idealism are coming to the forefront. It's a sextile between the end of Aquarius and the end of Aries. It's a positive Venusian influence on a difficult wounds of war. She's really good for justice. She's linked to Dike and Themis, two goddesses of justice, and she's moral righteousness and a desire for cosmic order. Does anybody here, come on, tell me in the comments, feel that maybe we've lost some kind of moral high ground? The world has lost it, as basically there's a war of choice underway and troops being sent there. By the United States is sending now, latest thing, 15,000, 17,000 more. Yeah, the news cycle said 17,000 more troops are being sent to the Middle East for boots on the ground. Well, 17 is the number of the star, right? So there's something about that makes me wonder if that's not going to happen. Moral righteousness, cosmic order. And she's the last one. So in an area in our life where we have the star maiden, we'll stick with something far too long. We won't give up. We'll keep on keeping on. Because then finally, star maiden Astraea left the mortals behind to deal with their rubbish, But she wants to bring back a golden age of morality. She wants to bring back, something different for society. And she can also be embodying something where we want hope for a return of a peaceful world and an innocent love. If only, right? But we all feel that right now. And if I was doing a more woo video, I'd say timelines are shifting. Which one are you going to choose, right? Because it's not like you are going to change and everyone else. It's like we have a conscious ability to bifurcate reality through the quantum entanglement field and choose to make real another reality than the one we're clearly headed for, which people want Armageddon, Jesus to come back, the Mashiach to come back, and all of that in a conflagration. Well, this is messianic fever, and this is delusion, and this is a misinterpretation of the Bible. The third temple isn't a brick and mortar thing, for example. It's if you talk to a rabbi, it's a temple of one's own ability to contain the divine, to hold what shattered when the divine entered into reality and the Sephirah shattered. And we are tikkun, repairing the damage. This is Judaic tradition. Judaism is a deep, profound religion. Zionism is not that. Okay, if you don't know the difference, then Google it. Now, speaking of the quantum entanglement field, I've got a funny story for you. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the chart and do the world quickly, the more of the world, and then your sign. You guys are going to have a funny laugh when I show you what I'm about to show you and explain what I'm about to explain to you. Okay. This is so cool. I mean, sometimes I love life. It's got so many cool little, I don't know, peccadillos in it. All righty. Yes, I'm sharing a weird doll with you. Isn't it funny that looks like a red sweater on this doll? And we're coming into a Mars fueled new moon with Chironic healing. So this is me. It's a picture of me on a big old tree my sister took a few years ago. And that is a doll. And that little device to the top of the doll is called a halo device. And about a couple of years back, I interviewed the founder of Spooky 2 and Quantum Entanglement Healing Devices, John. He's quite a lovely fella. And I've been a sort of an affiliate for them on and off, because I've actually gained successful healing from their products. So my sister, Nancy, she's a healer, but she was a 30-year hospital nurse, very practical, now retired. She started working with their products, and this is the halo device, and you can use it remotely or you can use it for yourself. So Nancy, my sister Nancy, who's my time stamper, younger sister, she used it for her back pain and back discomfort, and she used it for sleep. There's 3 separate sleep programs for calmer sleep, deeper sleep, longer sleep, more REM sleep. Anyway, it cured her of her sleeplessness. Ask any postmenopausal women. We often wake up at 3 o'clock. I think it's time to get out of bed. And that's adrenal, I know, and adrenal wake ups as well. And also for her back problems. But I had this came back from a WestJet flight back in, I think it was, I don't remember, it was back in January maybe. And it was jam-packed full. It was coming back from Torcones, Mexico. Maybe it was December actually. But whenever it was, I had a fever, a headache. I felt really sick. I mean, the woman in the aisle with me was coughing in her seat, right? So of course I got it. And I was not doing well. I had to record a lot of videos and do a lot of work. And I just had that sinus pressure where everything was jammed up in here. It was really hurting. And I was stuck. I couldn't breathe even. And Nancy said, I'll do the halo on you. And so she put a proxy doll. She's a Reiki healer. That's a proxy doll for healing people at a distance. And she did this for me. And within an hour of she did the halo. I cannot tell you. I literally started draining all of that sinus pressure over 3 hours nonstop. Right, I've been 2 days and nothing was happening. And I don't take allopathic medicine for that stuff. Anyway, it healed me. And then after that, I even felt better the next day beyond the sinus pressure and all of that. The low-grade fever, the headache, and all of the other symptoms began to quickly dissipate. Why am I sharing this with you? You're probably going, what the heck is this story about? Well, I'm an affiliate and I like to share things that work. Okay, that's the key. If it doesn't work, I'm not sharing it. So if you'd like to get a discount just from me, underneath this video, there is a discount code for buying the Halo device from the Spooky 2 people. And if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. You try it. I don't think it's not going to work, because there are other products I've had have worked, but I'm just going to say, give it a shot, because Chiron is the archetypal healer. And this is an important time for all of us to heal physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and to hold out hope that this world ain't going to hell in a handbasket and the sky is not falling Chicken Little. Okay. Are you ready to look into the sky with me? We're going to scry. We're going to go into it together. I slept 11 hours last night, by the way. which is why I'm so perky. Whereas I've been exhausted and sleeping hardly at all. I don't have a halo device. I need to get one because it would have helped my sleep problems. I gave it to my sister to pilot it out and see if it would work because she's a healer and she tests everything. And so that's her results. She's had the device for about 4 months. Okay. Let's look at the chart. And I'll try my best not to share my super messy desktop as I do it, which is almost impossible, but I'm trying my best. All right. I think I got a new video editor and a team, and they're trying to edit out this mess, though. Usually you guys don't see it anyway. It'll say loading, loading, loading. All right. Let's talk about this sky. Shall we? Shall we? I really think this is the most consequential, game-changing, global, world-shifting lunation that we are going to have in a very long time. The moon is happening to occur at 27 degrees of Aries. There was an eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries in April. Could have been the 8th or the 19th, whatever date, doesn't really matter, in April of 2023. When another moon lands right on that eclipse point, it reactivates the energy of that eclipse. That eclipse that happened back then occurred in April, and by October 7th, there was a massive snowball rolling effect that was going to catalyze war in the Middle East. It's all a part of the same continuum, and yes, the expansion of the Greater Israel Project. But nonetheless, that eclipse speaks to that story, because an eclipse, when it unfolds like this, right, it happened to be in Aries, it happened to be where this spot is now. This is a bookend energy, right? Because that eclipse in April of 23 would work its way through 1 year. And it was less than a year. It was October when we saw the damage report. In fact, October, the sun was in Libra across from the eclipse itself, activating the actual eclipse meaning. So at this time, we're looking at this return of a bookend to the war in Middle Eastern areas storyline that began in October of 2023. The bookend is here at this time. Now, I want to draw your attention to the star Maiden. Okay. Remember, I yattered on about her and how we like her here. And that's Diana the Huntress with her bow and arrow and hunting dogs. And she's, as I said, an independent, strong feminine energy because she, sister of Apollo, did not need to get married. And she chose to be a single woman, and she helped women in childbirth, midwiving. So she's got a lot going on for her as a good feminine archetype, although she does throw bows and arrows, right, to hunt. So kinetic devices are up her wheelhouse, and the Star Maiden is at one with her. And I already talked about what the Star Maiden means. The moon is here. The Sabian symbol for this lunation is a disappointed audience. The distance here is called a sextile, and it is bringing Venusian blessings. It's positive. So a disappointed audience, or a large crowd and a disappointed audience. So where will the general public be disappointed in something even more than they've been at this time? Like a sense of collective group. Moon represents the people, we the people, expressing a collective disappointment at something that we're seeing on the theater of war, perhaps, could definitely be it. Okay. I forgot to draw it in, but Jupiter at 17 degrees at the degree of the star card is sitting with the asteroid Ops for opportunity, something positive. The wife of Saturn, Rhea, Ops, some positive time coming after a time of hardship. So Jupiter is with Ops, a positive time after a time of great difficulty, travail, and hardship. Jupiter is sitting with that asteroid. Hallelujah. Can we say hallelujah? I'm saying hallelujah. We have Manwë with Mars, the ruler of this actual moon. Manwë is the wife Varda. He's an elf king. He has like birds that tell him what's going on. Big picture view. He's got the birds who go fly and come back, like falconers and stuff, and tell him what's going on in the world. So Manwë can be considered a hierarchical energy of things that are in the air that give us a perspective or a view on something. So possibly with the moon, we the people, we're going to have a big picture view of what the situation in the world is really about. We'll see it more clearly. For example, sitting next to Mercury, okay, and also Neptune. Boris Ceci, that's this thing, is a fictional Kurt Vonnegut book, and it's literally about creating a fake god. Okay, it's a And people wanting to believe in it. So the asteroid delineation can be, what is it that you've wanted so deeply and desperately to believe, like a fiction that you wanted to, like, you wanted to believe it. Neptune and Aries is holy warriors and religions as well. This is Eos. Eos is the goddess of the dawn, a new beginning, a new horizon. The light will rise and shine. Something good is trying to happen. Mars, a heroic warrior, maybe the heroic feminine as well. Venus, the feminine, in her home kingdom with Uranus. Now, Uranus is still on Algol, decapitation. Yes, you know what decapitation means, right? It's a strategy where we can take someone from power in a very decapitating way, archetypally. So we have that energy here, but a female in dignity could decapitate a world leader. And we have Zeus wedged in here at 28 degrees. The moon will touch down with Zeus literally hours after the new moon. Hours after the new moon, Zeus sitting with that energy next to that Sabian symbol, a large disappointed audience. Some world Zeus leader is going to be decapitated, taken down from power or from aliveness. I don't know which way it's going to go. I'm going to call this a very sobering time, because right here, it's a mess, is three very scary stories. The North Node of intensity, malefic Rahu, increases what it touches. Volume up, shrill volume on Volcano and on Gong Gong. Gong Gong, the Chinese sea serpent who brings into being things that are very difficult, cosmic catastrophes. He's a very gnarly sea serpent. Wherever Gong Gong goes, you can expect a catastrophe. We're in the sign of Pisces, which is seashores and waters. Seas and waters and shores. We have the North Node of increase and inflammation, and we have Volcano, explosive force. We also have Volcano is the husband of Venus, who was the armorer of the gods and made the thunderbolts for Zeus. What are the thunderbolts for Zeus, guys? Anyone have put their hand up? They're weapons that fly through the air and land somewhere. And I'm only a bit concerned because Diana, with the Star Maiden, squares this explosive, shocking Uranian future. And so where I'm going to end with this before we go on, and I don't think I'm going to cover the chart of Donald Trump here because I have it on Substack. Go read it. I want to move to your sign. But Donald Trump's in the crosshairs of a lot of this energy. Donald Trump has his ascendant conjunct Apollo, by the way, 29 degrees, and also conjunct the asteroid America at birth. And you can see he's having an asteroid America returns. Right now, Mars is sitting in his chart, always in his chart, at 26 degrees of Leo, right? And so he's got Mars in Leo, America, Apollo, ascendant, and Mars is at 26 degrees in his chart. So he's having a lot of intensity of the return of the fight, war, win, or whatever type of energy connected to the asteroid America. He was destined with asteroid America to be somehow important. However, at 29 degrees of the sign of Leo, this puts him in very difficult situations because it's Nero, fiddling while Rome burned. The downside of Regulus, fame, power, glory, and riches, right, is that it also is Nero. It's the fall from pride, hubris, and arrogance and overreach of a person who reaches kingship powers or emperor powers. And that's this is code natally to live through that potential consequence. And because Uranus is squaring his ascendant right now in an anaretic, intense degree, it could trigger the beginning of the Nero downfall energy. The Star Maiden is sitting across the way, directly across his life force energy, his body, but cosmic justice, rebalancing. Diana throws arrows. So he's in harm's way from something coming his way is all I can say. Do I know what and why and when and where? No, it could be a bad publicity. It could be a disclosure by intelligence communities. They're always leaking to the Wall Street Journal, right? You know that, right? CIA and Wall Street Journal are one. And then I don't know which other agency uses the New York Times. So it could be news disclosures because of Mars, right? That are going to shock or surprise, but also disappoint the audience, and enough of a disclosure that there may be a momentum slow down to the machinery of war. Finally, because there's more going on in Donald Trump's chart that I'm not going to cover, but on the 19th of April in Donald Trump's chart, Mars, Saturn, and Mercury, triple conjunction on the 19th, 20th of April, will square Mercury in Donald Trump's chart. Mercury is the ruler of his sun. The sun represents your life force and vitality. His sun is with Uranus, very electric energy, very, for his age, seemingly the Energizer bunny. But having this triple conjunction, Mars, cut and sever, Saturn, the Grim Reaper, Mercury, the Muse, and it is squaring his Mercury, the planet that is in charge of his solar energy. That's also very difficult. He's got Neptune in solar arc time across from his sun. That's usually something to do with one's mental acuity, but the sun is also your vitality. And if you have that happening to you, like Neptune conjuncts your sun or Neptune squares your sun, this is solar arc time though, then what happens, you're quite often like depleted energetically. You're in inertia mode. You want to just I have no energy to do anything. And maybe that's what he's going to begin to feel. I don't know. So again, I'm not an American and I'm just commenting with my Canadian side popcorn, but I think that if I have anything in my Substack, I said, is he at risk? He's at risk of something in April. I don't know what it is. JD Vance is a prince in waiting. That looks like a possibility as well. In a recent video with Donnie Lim, we were talking about the overview for April. He's also seeing something for Trump in April, but he's thinking it's just going to be a temporary downdraft, not a permanent one. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. That's what we got. Let's go ahead and do your sign. Are you ready? Let's get rolling. Don't forget, your rising sign is going to be the most important part of this video because it's your body, your mind, and your mask. If you're listening for your rising sign, you must know your birth time. And if you don't know how to get your chart, cast your chart in whole sign houses and get your own birth time, please consider going to my free video down there, how to do that. You want to use whole sign houses, that we're all using that on YouTube in order to cast general delineations for sun, moon, and rising. So that's your mask and character in the simulation, or that's a character in the movie of life. But the actor plays a character and the game player plays a simulation avatar. That's your sun. It's your core you. It's your true you. It's your internal spirit, right? That incarnates into multiple lives and timelines. And you can use it to listen for matters of purpose and career when you're thinking about those specifically. After the age of mid-40s, your second Saturn opposition wakes that sun up and gives it more life force energy to be more accurate or as accurate as your rising. The moon sign is your feeling, thinking. If you're mopey, sad, melancholic, anxious, and worried, that's your moon. Right? It's your moon. But your moon also, and it's your material representation of your soul in the karmic consequences of life. But your moon is your home, right? Your home nest safe, where you feel safe and secure, where you put your head at night, your domicile. So those are ways to listen today. Let's get started. We're going first with Aries, because Aries, I'm one of you, sun, moon, and rising. It is intense. I'm like I have my sun and my Mercury and my moon sitting in Aries. So I can only say I already feel some intensity building up. So we'll start with Aries and we'll wheel around that chart. I just came across a quote on my phone popping up from somebody. Her Substack is called In the Company of Cards. She's actually a friend, Erica, and she's great. Go check her out. And she does Lenormand Tarot. And she's like, we cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us. Herman Melville, the author of Moby Dick. We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us. I haven't read her article or what she's posting, but yes, the 1,000 fibers that connect us are called our international trade routes. And there's no way we can separate ourselves from that. You guys do know that oil and gas trade routes are also important for fertilizer. Fertilizer grows food. So food depends on trade until we discover a new energy source other than petrochemicals. So yes, 1,000 fibers connect us, and we cannot think just for ourselves, what we want in some kind of narcissistic myopia, which, by the way, is basically what's going on. One country is fighting for another country's interests, as you might well guess. The other country is that little one that's tiny and is trying to take over a lot of space and geographically. Just by the way, where Mars died on the 9th, that's a very important placement. But anyway, he died on the 9th in Capricorn, which is the home and homeland of the nation that wants to expand its boundaries. And that could indicate it's always going to be where Mars dies, an area of something problematic. So their goals will likely not be reached. All righty. I listened to a rabbi talk about this yesterday who's appalled by the war. All righty. Let's roll through this without hesitation. We'll start with Aries, sun, moon, and rising. How will you deal with this story? It's a bit of a mess there, so don't worry, but at least you can see what I'm talking about. Lots going on in the sign of Aries when we added the minor asteroids as well. You are looking at a very rare stellium. We haven't had this kind of pile up in Aries for decades. And so it's going to feel different to be you. You feel different in your own skin. You are like, what is this new version of me? Aries rising, you are becoming something completely different. You've never been this before. Aries sun, same is true, but in the area of life called your career and purpose. And also Aries moon in how you feel and think about life, and also maybe in matters to do with where you choose to live. And this energy is extraordinarily powerful for you because Mars is in domicile as of April the 9th, 10th, time zone dependent. He's in his home kingdom. He's opening up doors of opportunity. He's giving you a mojo on steroids. He's turbocharged. And this lunation is under his guidance. And this moon is going to occur in a place where you are going to renew yourself with Zeus-like potency. What do I mean? Where are you going to be the king of your own mountaintop? Where are you going to take the command center of your own life? That's simply what it is. And to be the command center of the mountaintop of your own life, Star Maiden's beaming over at you from Aquarius in a sextile, and she wants you to restore yourself to originality, purity, to a sense of where you want to be of greater service to humanity, in the sense that you're a leader as well. Even if you're a leader of your local community, or your church or your synagogue or your mosque, where are you stepping up to a new level of leadership and a desire to serve humanity, to begin to become available to a greater purpose, and taking precision aim and going in that direction. The other energy of this new beginning, new moon, is blossoming for you in a gorgeous way, is it does have a conversation with Jupiter on the keyword ops. Difficult times come to an end for opportunity and thrival. Where are you going to thrive? It's fourth house Jupiter, maybe matters of thrival connected to home or property or where you live, or the prosperity that you wish to generate from your daily home, quiet life. Jupiter exalted in Cancer, ruling this lunation. I mean, in the temple of the moon, it's like you could probably find yourself taking on some kind of new spiritual path. You could find yourself suddenly looking at life through the lens of a new spiritual focus, but in a good way, in a way that brings a new survival, takes survival to thrival, and takes the stress of like what you could call a really difficult time behind me, and says, okay, a new dawn is here, a new beginning, a new rising of the sun, Mercury on Eos. The only thing you need to watch for is Saturn. He's putting on the brakes, but sometimes you want his brakes because he's cautious and he's preserving, safety nets when needed. But on the other hand, he's in debility. The urge to put your foot on the gas at the same time that you're going to want to, go full steam ahead. I would honor Mars a little bit more, but look for the sense that as this moon approaches, you're also getting bundled into the 19th of April, where you could feel like there's a wall in front of you. Do you go through it? Do you go over it? Do you go around it? So whatever you're focused on, wherever you're directing your attention, also note, do you feel like you're hitting the wall? But if you are, what kind of wall are you hitting? Are you hitting a wall that you can go around? You don't always have to plow through a wall. That's difficult. In fact, that could cause damage. So instead of plowing through a wall, can you get a hot air balloon to go over it? Think of ways to get around your obstacles in new ways. The moon can open it up for you as an opportunity to see life differently in regards to that. And so basically, when you feel this intensity near and on and just after this moon, I'm encouraging you to think of innovative ways to go around the problem, not through it, because a head-first approach can cause damage to your energy levels and maybe even to your soul. Who wants some soul damage over trying too hard to get something to work, right? Well, you don't need to go so head on. This is Chiron, the wounded healer, with Zeus. Oh, there is Zeus, sorry. And there is Okiro. I forgot to talk about Okiro in the intro. Oh, well, no worries. Zeus is there. Okiro is there. Okiro was like a psychic seer who got punished for seeing the future. Okay, so we won't go into her. But Zeus is with the sun. I just pointed at the wrong asteroid. Certainly, you could feel like stuck and stranded in your own predictive prophecies where you know what's going to happen. No one believes you. But that's happened to me so many times I can't count it. All right, what else do we have for you? The turbulence of the 12th house just during this lunation is your own self-undoing. Just be careful you're not your own worst catastrophic sea monster. Take a few deep breaths, lean into the divine, and find some way to move through, not, through your own psychological turmoil, should you be experiencing it, which can be a case of the North Node bundled up in the 12th house. It could be very psycho-spiritual turmoil and intensity for you as you approach the 17th and this lunation. If your Aries sun, moon, and rising is between 20 and 29 degrees, let's just give you a nice broad swoop. Closer you are to 27, 28 degrees when this moon happens, the more you're going to feel it, right? Does that make sense? But you're still all going to feel it nonetheless. We haven't had Mars here for 2 whole years. All right. So this is like a reboot and reboot yourself. We're doing a separate video just on Mars and Aries. And you will see that after this video comes out. So we'll talk more about that in a separate video. But you have your mojo back after 2 years of an absence. And this is where you're going to thrive. And wait for that Mars video, because I parse how long Mars is here and what it really means for you based on Mars death and rising. That video is coming out shortly after this one. Now, I'm drawing a card for everybody out of the Animal Spirit Oracle deck by Kim Krans for a little inspiration. I'm not reading the whole thing. I'm just going to talk about the card that you get. In your case, it's Nightingale. So if that's a bird, and that doesn't surprise me, Manwë, is sitting with Mercury and Mars, and he's the god of birds, the one who the birds give him the big picture view, the birds tell him what to do. I mean, he runs on bird power, basically. And so you're going to get a big picture view. You're going to know how to proceed. You're going to go around your obstacles, not through them. And then we're going to take a look at the Nightingale. You have the Nightingale. I love the idea of a Nightingale. And I don't think I almost ever draw this card for me, ever. So let's take a look at what Nightingale says. Holy man, it's warm in here. Let me fix it best I can. Welcome to Vancouver, Canada. It is hot because I'm in a window corner seat here, as you can well see. All right. Sorry, there's no easy way to get through her book. You have to scan through it. Nightingale. Fearless voice. Okay, Aries, you need to have a fearless voice. I'm resonating. I had a dream last night that has to start talking about light and dark and how I really see the world, and hell or handbasket, you either like me or you don't. Fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. When you're in balance with this energy, right? And you can use it for writing and composing, right? As well, she says. Whew. And bridge the space between the heart and your voice. When you're in balance with his energy, you sing, speak freely, and with kindness. Out of balance, you have a lump in your throat. I've been doing that a lot on my channel lately, right? I'm not speaking as freely as I'd like. And you can bring it into balance with music. Well, I've been listening to a lot of music. Okay, I'm going to pause and open the windows before I become a sweat bog here. Give me a minute. Thanks, guys. You have no idea. That's not, please, it's not menopause. It's actually just hot in here. Everyone's going to say it's menopause. All right. Thanks for patience. All right. So guys, let's leave you behind. I love it. New dawn, new beginnings. Whatever you chose to believe, like you had a desperate desire to believe in some fiction, whatever it could be a religious fiction. I see a lot of you changing your spiritual direction here from the roots down, like maybe reorienting yourself from the ancestral line roots and maybe taking something deep and true from the way your family of origin, looked at life through the lens of spiritual philosophy, because there's some gold down there for you guys. So, if you came from a family of observant Jews or, Christians who, went to church every weekend, maybe something good for you is down there. As long as it's not Zionist, you're all good. All right. So let's keep going. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. So we have a star maiden in your 10th house. How do you want to shine brightly like a star in the world, in the way you produce your outcome in your career, the way you show up in the world for, your public reputation and all of that. And this new moon in your 12th house is opening up a can of good worms for you, because your 12th house is that hidden place, and it's often your own addictions, self-undoing, things you do to make your life worse, like you're sabotaging without knowing why. If that's been a thing that you've been dealing with in this lifetime and you're wondering how to undo it, well, the good news is you're going to find solutions. Taking aim in a new direction. The Star Maiden is also connected to healing. And so there's something about finding a new level of virginal purity and healing and a new potency of taking taking aim for something on the reputation and professional accomplishments area that also helps you unwind your own saboteur, especially, who needs hidden enemies? That's the 12th house. But in this kind of story, you're your own worst hidden enemy, your own enemy within. So you have to look more deeply. It reminds me of that movie years ago about this. We're talking about a 1960s movie, The Forbidden Planet, and all of these scientists disappear on the planet. So a rescue crew comes to find out what happened to the scientists. They're all like, where'd they go? And they find this alien tech and they put this thing on their head. And the thing that they're putting on their head, the alien tech, it ends up turning out they're not understanding how it worked. That's what happened to the scientists who all disappeared, although there's one evil scientist still there, not explaining the tech to them. Your negative thoughts are outpictured. If you're afraid of monsters, monsters are marauding you. If you're afraid of snakes, snakes are trying to kill you, and they do kill you because they become real. So your unconscious thought patterns can be your own worst enemy, just like that movie, The Forbidden Planet, until you unplug from them and realize what's really been happening here. This is past lives. This hooks up to ancestral line themes and also past life curses and past life karma and past life, vows of chastity and poverty and whatever other hot mess you got involved in other lifetimes. So there's a deep soul work that this moon kicks off for you with Chiron, the wounded one, but also the healer here, and a new dawn and a new beginning, and the big picture view with Manway, and also the idea that you could be like turning over a new leaf. There's something important. It could be deep psychological work, a turning point in an addiction or self-undoing, a habit pattern change of great magnitude. This is a stellium. We only get like this kind of shit every few decades. Last was 1991, but it wasn't even these planets. So the kind of power you have here, Mars is the drive, the willpower, the ambition. He's talking to Pluto. He's supercharged up with divine willpower, moves through your personal willpower. What the hell, eh? Divine power moving through your personal willpower. Why the hell not? Jack up some really superpower strength of will. Now, your strength of will, it can be applied to many different things in this kind of stellium. There's not just one, but I certainly would say with the moon ruling your third house with Jupiter there, Jupiter's on ops. I didn't draw ops in there, but trust me, ops is there. It's opportunities, but it's after a time of travail and difficulty and struggle. There's going to be thrival, new beginnings, and opportunities emerging. This is in the house that you might associate with communicating, writing, the local neighborhood, siblings, uncles, cousins, aunts, businesses and stuff like that, businesses that you've worked for, that you have for yourself. And Jupiter here is going to turn over a new leaf. Something good is going to happen. It's also short distance travel and skills-based learning. There's a new beginning. There's something fresh. And the sun is the ruler of your fourth house, and your fourth house is your ancestral stuff, and also property, land, home, and real estate. There's a new leaf energy for you regarding your association to mom and dad and family of origin and childhood issues. Now, issues in childhood often haunt us when we don't know it. I just broke through a childhood issue to do with thinking that, hard work had to be like a workaholic, and it came from my dad, and I observed him. So I just had a breakthrough on that. I'm 63 and I'm still breaking through childhood programming. Look to where you might have an unconscious childhood program that you're getting ready to cut, end, and sever, but it allows for also a superhuman level of willpower in order to do that. And I do like Venus in your second house at this lunation. Obviously, she's in the house of money with some positive financial surprises. She's trying to gin up for you, connected to your prosperity through your work. So work and career and more sudden openings financially, peripherally involved as this new moon carves away at this kind of deeply hidden from your conscious mind betrayal of self. And with Zeus there, the king of Mount Olympus and Chiron, you may be healing issues to do with people that you thought had authority over you, right? Zeus-like figures, father figures, usually emperor figures, and healing a chironic wound regarding your father in childhood, and particularly, and some of the things that occurred go back to your dad. It stems from your dad in the sky, not your mom. You're healing that. Yeah, I know your moon is there, but the sun is the ruler of your ancestral line, your fourth house. So go into your dad's stuff, go see a therapist, do a meditation, go get a hypnosis, see what lingering little bits and pieces of dad are still causing you to, unsucceed in life. It's funny, it's like there's it's like a pebble in your shoe or a piece of sand. It may not feel like a big deal, but over time it's causing a wound. Over time, you're getting a blister, and then that's going to be festering. So you want to clear this deep level out. I pitched the halo in the beginning. You might want to use the halo device as well. It's really good for physical issues, but I think it has a psychological program or two where you could run a well-being program or meditation, not a meditation, but for psychological, emotional well-being within the halo programming repertoire. So it's not just about your body. Alrighty, but you find out more by going over to Halo and seeing what it's all about in the link below my videos. I'm not really pushing it. Like, it's not a big deal for me. It's not a big income maker to be an affiliate. It's because I believe in the power of quantum devices to heal us without having to go the hard route. Alrighty, let's get, I don't believe, I experienced it myself, so I know it works. All right, let's move on. But Taurus, one more thing, just last thing. Mars is the ruler of your marriage house, right? The Scorpio 7th house. By cleaning up your own stuff, you could attract a very powerful relationship partner to you in the wake of this moon in the next 6 months. But if you're with somebody, he can help kind of purify the level of goodness in the relationship, right? Because it's like your own sabotaging behaviors in an existing relationship may be more of a problem than your partner. You know what I mean? You could code this, my partner's my hidden enemy, but I don't think so, because Mars is in great dignity. Look for that wall. It could even be a relationship wall, an addiction wall. Look for that wall to be really strong 2 days after this moon. Go around or above, do not go through. I already gave that guidance to Aries. It's a frustration wall. It's like you got determination and speed, and all of a sudden there's a break there. Go through it in a safe way. Come out the other side successful. You're going to heal something in the 2 to 3 days after this moon, during and after. Hey, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Gotta say, I can kind of relate because I've got a progressed Gemini sun. No progressed planets ain't as good as your natal. Oh, wait. OMG. I forgot to draw a card for you, Taurus. Sorry about that. Yay. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. I forgot to draw a card. Here's your card. I apologize. The bee, the busy little bee. Oh my goodness. I think of the bee, I think of community myself and fertility and honey. I wonder what she says about the bee in here. Now I've got one hand because my microphone broke. I dropped it on the floor. Yes, I'll be buying a new one. And the stand is broken. So just find the bee. Obviously, the bee is a being in this book. I'll have to put you guys down while I dig around for the bee. Hang in there. If I ever talk to Kim Kranz in person, I'll tell her, girl, put a table of contents and page numbers in here. B, earnest, hardworking, and democratic. Earnest, hardworking, and democratic. Well, you do have Venus, Uranus, activation. Oh, in your sign. Did I say the second house? I hate when this thing looks this jumbled. Yes. Sorry. You have a Venus-Uranus conjunction at the moon in your own temperament about life, talking to the star Maiden in your 10th house to take aim. Okay, but then Venus will then roll her little butt around the 24th of April for 3 weeks into your money house. So that's good for more earnings through your work. I'm not going to go back and redo the video. It's just the way this jammed up. I looked at it incorrectly. It's still the same idea. Venus is a goddess of money, and she's talking to your 10th house of career, and you want to make some radical changes to up-level your finances, talking to the career house, Diana, star Maiden, and then she rolls for 3 weeks into the earnings house and up-levels your finances. April 24th at 3 weeks. B, earnest, hardworking, and democratic. In balance during this moon and after this moon, even up to 6 months after. Be content, active, and vibrant. Active and vibrant. And out of balance, you can be overworked and annoyed. And to bring yourself into balance in the wake of this lunation, take a mini vacation. Oh my God, I should have said that. Jupiter opens up thrival opportunities through short distance travel, and far away and distant places can be the 12th. So a little trip away can save the day. All right, now back to Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Yes, I can relate. I have a progressed sun. Let's go ahead and talk. So we haven't had a stellium since I think it was 1991. This thick in Aries, but it still wasn't the same. It's rare to have this planetary parade like this. And we do have the 11th house lit, right? So what is your 11th house? Your long-range goals, dreams, and wishes. your social influence, sometimes your celebrity, the gains of your career, more money, more success, more fame, more glory, but also the wishes you have for your reality. It's also your networks, social groups, but also friendship circles as well. All of that is on a renewal lease. It's going to start something different. It's going to start anew. It's a refreshing of the screen. The new beginning and all of that that's going to happen here is got a new dawn. Eos with Mercury, a new beginning, a new dawn in those areas of your life that you would like to see renewed. Manway, the bigger picture, like a bird's eye view of the dreams and goals and wishes you wish to experience. Mars, full of vim and vigor and intensity, driving you to succeed. And then, we hit a wall maybe on the 19th, a little bit of a crash, but you don't have to burn. All you have to do is find a helium balloon and fly over that wall. So there's going to be a little frustration around the 19th, but don't stress about it. It's also Saturn trying to give you a pause button. Maybe you're moving too fast. Maybe you should slow down just a little bit. And then you're going to talk about what you're healing here, right? You want to heal a chironic wound. It connected to the Emperor Zeus energy on the new moon. Where have you been wounded? By a king, right? So then we don't have kings that wound us personally, father figures, masculine figures, leader figures. And where have you felt, undone by them or wounded by them? And now you can begin to turn that around and remove that, pebble from underneath your shoe. And also the idea here of the Zeus archetype, you could become that. You could become the top of some professional field, the leader in your field. There can be an opening for that to heal a wound about your professional direction that wasn't right for you and to renew you and move you towards something new, where you really are on purpose as you rise to new levels of stature, power, and influence in your career and your success in terms of influencing the masses or larger groups of people. Those are 11th house themes. Major turning points in the relationship with a sibling one older than you. And that is a story that goes very strongly with the 11th house. Allies and benefactors, people in power who want to support you, renewing new beginnings, new fresh starts here. Diana with her arrow and the star maid in the 9th house can have your attention go to book publishing, international themes, wanting to align with purpose and dharma so that you can be a servant to humanity and help the suffering humans and all of their plights. You might also notice that with Diana, she's got to take aim at something. She has a bow and arrow, and she's ruled by Saturn. So you're going to take aim at something connected to your long-range goals and dreams and visions for your life. This may be the beginning of a strategy, a long-term plan, a directional, like plotting your plot line in advance and knowing what you need, the next marker you need to aim for, right? We don't climb a mountain all at once. We go to base camp and then another camp and another camp. And there's a little bit of that vibe that Saturn says, okay, we're going to climb up the mountain. The ram is a goat. It climbs up to cliffs. It's a sheep, but it climbs up to cliffs. We're going to climb up to the heights of success that we want in a strategic way, taking aim, but we have to be motivated by purpose, meaning, and the serving of humanity. Otherwise, that climb might not happen or might not be worth it. Okay? A little frustration on the 19th. This too shall pass. Jupiter on ops for times of difficulty financially. Now, this can be real financial difficulty. It's struggle and travail, or maybe emotions around money and assets and possessions and movable possessions. And you've been sort of stressed out about it. Maybe, Jupiter is lighting up a new beginning because he's with ops, the wife of Saturn. There's a new thrival and a new time of ease and positivity after a time of stress and hardship connected to the money that you make through your career, North Node in the 10th house. There's kind of a volcanic explosion and an intensity up there in your career space, like really intense actually. And it may not be that important because this is not necessarily just about the moon, but the moon co-present with this story, a positive ending through explosive transformation, and it could be a worldly success because the North Node brings worldly success and it's ruled by Jupiter. So worldly success intensifies an explosive force, a volcanic force of career success financially coming off the moon. Now, the moon could bring it right away. The moon could bring it in a week before, 3 to 4 weeks after, and it becomes a new thread for the next 6 months. It's not a one and done. It rolls out over time. Okay. I'm not going to stop the recording. I'm just not, because it's a pain in the ass. And now I'm going to do a plug in my laptop moment before we go ahead and talk about the next sign. But before I do that, I want to also bring your attention to Gemini. Venus is in your 12th house. She will around the 22nd, collide with Uranus. We'll do a video on that. But it's also an opportunity for you to completely break free or break through of self-undoing, self-defeating patterns, habits, and also experience a new level of financial worth if you're doing any of that financial upgrade through the internet or digital income or working in a foreign company or for a foreign company with international offices, or even working in another country other than the one in which you were born. I drew the sea serpent for you. Let's take a quick look at that. Doesn't surprise me. Your 10th house and second house water signs, right, are very activating during this lunation. So the sea serpent is not a real being. It's one of her mythical and mystical creatures, like the unicorn, right? She's got that in here, like the golden egg. Let's take a look at it. You need to be looking at healing emotional wounds and expressing your true desires. Well, the house of your yearnings, wishes, and desires, long-range goals and plans, is stelliumed out in the 11th house. Now, it's long. It's your third chakra, by the way, right? Oh, no, sorry, not the third chakra. It's your second chakra. That's your womb chakra for creativity and desire. And the Divine Mother Kundalini herself. Oh my God, I had a Kundalini activation the other day. So it's the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality. The sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into healthy currents. And this card, when it's in balance, allows you to express yourself creatively and sexually without fear or without shame. We know what we desire most. Our heart is at ease. Well, it is a desire house, the 11th house. We're let go of the grip of self-judgment. We go to the cool waters of forgiveness to heal the wounds. And when the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in the muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in areas of our life. In some places it floods. It's important to remember, no matter what the waters of our emotional life look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in a gesture of protection, and she supports us as we learn to express our true nature. True nature is the star maiden and Diana in the house of your dharmic purpose, in connecting to the house of your desires and a new beginning. All right, so now this is time to plug in before I lose this, and then we'll continue on. And I'm not stopping the recording. So just take a few deep breaths. No big deal, right? You can just pause a second. I'm coming. Now I'm plugging in. Now I'm plugging into my laptop, and then we shall continue with great joy and excitement. All right, let's keep on. Let's keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. I hope that mic was near my face. Right, next sign is going to be you guys, you Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I like this for you a lot. I think that you're protected divinely by Jupiter, who's in his exaltation here once every 12 years. And now he's on opportunity for a time of thrival after a time of difficulty. Ops and Rhea, a same goddess, wife of Saturn. So it's about something growing, something green, like a green thumb, something renewing itself after a time of difficulty. So that's a backdrop that's really lovely. And the moon, it's in your career space, right? Your reputation, career, professional accomplishments, etc. So you have a new start with a chironic wound here since 2019. You've been searching for a sense of the key to purpose. You want your career to be on purpose and meaningful to you. You want to be using your natural talents and gifts to the best ability. And this moon is opening up a healing around that energy. You might want to go back, by the way, to April of 23 and ask what renewals and new beginnings you made from that eclipse in a year that followed professionally. So my sister, Nancy, Cancer Rising, I think she started working for me more than just a time stamping now and then. And you'll notice up here that this is a big picture of you, man ways here. You want to see the big picture like a bird and get all the data you need, all the intel you need to know how to proceed in your career. There's a new beginning and a new dawn, Eos. And you'll notice that you also have the king of Mount Olympus. And this is where you could be the king in your own career, literally the top of your own field, like really feeling like you at a peak of accomplishing things in the year. Well, the 6 months that follows the new moon, but certainly a couple of days, 3 days before and up to 3 weeks after, look for this sense of really leveling up into this new level of a professional accomplishment that you're potentially able to achieve, right? And Saturn can be caution or pace it slower. Don't be like overdoing it. Like Mars can be high speed race car here. But Mars is trying to channel divine willpower from the 8th house, which is a deep karmic house as well. So as you move through this increase of success in your career that this moon is trying to fruit your way for the 6 months that follow with new beginnings and new seeds planted now, notice that there's a bit of the 19th and 20th, couple days after the moon, and you'll feel it during the moon, maybe a bit of a frustration or feeling overwhelmed or hitting a wall, so to speak. Mars hits Saturn, the structure, and you might have to negotiate a way around it so that because Mars has a success plan in his hand. Saturn may just be raining on the parade. So if something gets in the way of the momentum or the excitement you're having, the work passion or the hardworking energies, fine. Now, if you don't like what you're doing professionally, some of you can quit a job. Mars Saturn there is to terminate, grim reap a position. You don't want to be there, and it's okay to go because it's a new beginning and a new dawn, Eos and Mercury, right? And ultimately, if you want to get the hell out of Dodge, look back to maybe eclipse energy in April of 23 through till about the end of that year. And maybe you saw something similar. You could have ended something, started something. It may be interconnected to the eclipse of back then. Jupiter, though, is protecting you divinely. And so all is well. Star Maiden with Diana, the huntress, they're in the 8th house. This is about money, right? Often, not always, but often. Saturn rules that house and he's in a condition of fall. Are you getting paid enough for what you're doing? Is there something about your worth or are you being underserved? Are you not able to work at home? Are you finding that your professional homework balance and the money stories are at odds with each other? You know, the sun rules your income, you see, and the moon, of course, rules Pisces, your sign. So there may be some issues to do with compensation. Now, you'll see that the moon has moved into Taurus, but that's not true. Let's go back a day for all the other signs. You just have to trust me that it's not really what we're talking about. And we'll go back to hour. So ask yourself if you're making enough money for the hard work you're doing. If you are, you don't have to quit. Mercury there can be negotiations of new levels of salary or compensation and reward for the hard work you're doing. And it can even be offside stuff like commission checks or better health packages or severance monies or better ways to structure taxes and a pivotal taking aim so that you can keep more of your earnings, maybe incorporating, for example. So there's a lot going on here over the next 6 months to show you the way. So just keep tuning in because it really, with King of Mount Olympus on a new moon, new beginning, you're going to become the career king, queen, so to speak, of the top of your sky. Venus is loving you up in the house of your goals, dreams, and wishes. And with Uranus there, especially around the 23rd of April, look for some positive financial surprises connected to plans, goals, dreams, wishes, but also specifically to the gains of one's career. And you can be benefiting financially from benefactors, allies, people who want to help you, including a sibling one older. So this is an exciting time for you. And if you've been tired of your career, then you're going to have a powerful new reset. If you love what you're doing, you're going to power up to a new level. But, you know, the Saturn here, if he's not slowing you down or taking you out of that job path, then he's asking you for a work-life balance, for one thing. He exalts your 4th house. Yeah. And to construct contracts and agreements, perhaps, that are really fair for your own level of your participation in your career, being remunerated to the right degree, getting the money you deserve might be a big theme off of this. Alrighty, good luck with that. I'm going to draw a card for you from the Animal Spirit Oracle. The only thing I don't like about drawing a card from this book is that I have to then go hunting for it in the non-easy way that this particular deck does. You know, it really can frustrate me. So let me put this down. Well, I fan the cards. And how many of you guys have a favorite microphone? I might just get a really nice lapel mic or whatever, but I have to change the mic because I kind of dropped it on the floor. It's a Yeti Blue. I actually like how portable it is, and I'm not going to throw it away. Good for travel. But if you have anything you'd recommend, I think all of you are going to say sure, a sure mic, aren't you? You have the golden egg. I remember I told you there were mythical beasties in this deck. Here's a mythical beastie for you, the golden egg. Funny enough, I did see that card was flipped up when I was scanning for you, and then I put it back in the right way so I could, and I drew it again. So the flipped up card was always for you, always for you. Hang in there. The black egg, the golden egg. Message at the center of the heart, the unstruck sound, and it connects you to your fourth chakra, your heart chakra. Follow your heart. Not too shabby. The golden egg, within the golden egg lives a precious sound. Deep within the sound is a message. The sound cannot be heard nor the message discerned until we retreat from the noise of the modern day life. The magical essence of the golden egg needs warmth, quiet, time to unfold, no pushing, grasping, deep and restful ease. Yeah, see, like Saturn is saying, you're so busy in the workspace, you might not be sleeping at night. Saturn exalts your house of sleep. So you want restful ease, yoga, nidra, meditation, introspection, contemplation, and settle in with your breath over the next few months. You know, this new moon opens up a new pathway for you in the months that follow. And it talks about being able to go really deep within your own chest and heart and to feel that connection to what you're really feeling, which is a very vulnerable place. Okay, so I get that in your chart. I understand why that might have come up for you. Let's move on to the next sign and talk about Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I think I'm going to make a new rule for myself. I could record more videos today, but I'm not going to. I'm never going to record more than one video a day because I know production runs are a good idea, but my soul is withering when I do that. Withering just means hair and makeup on more than one day. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. So you are tied to the moon because you are really going to feel it. The sun in a new moon is always involved, and the sun is your ruler. And this is happening in your ninth house of God, which is so funny that the word God is so tainted these days. Your own access to divine intelligence. All right. Through whatever mechanism you do that. Consult the oracle, go to church, meditate. And because you're having this lunation in your ninth house, and because it has a stellium not seen in decades, it's not like any old yearly new beginning, new moon, a new dawn, Eos with Mercury, a new dawn, a new beginning is rising out of this energy. And this new dawn or this new beginning involves you being the king of Mount Olympus or consulting the king of Mount Olympus, because guides and mentors and teachers and, therapists and advisors are people who live in the ninth house. Chiron, Sun, Zeus. What kind of guide or mentor are you looking for? Or do you have already that you should lean on a bit more? And in our modern world, we have coaches and therapists and people who do have professions other than pastor, priest, and rabbi, but those are those people too. So you might be having the experience of getting some really important backup units to support you. Mars with Manwë is going to ask for the big picture view. You're not going to go see somebody in order to gaze at your navel. You're going to get the big picture view for your whole life. And this is the house of your meaning of life and your significance of life and your dharmic path and your use of your talents in this world and the very reason that you're breathing on this planet. So that is going to open up as a new beginning in a way you've not seen before in this lifetime, because we've never seen this sky before in your lifetime, and nor will we ever see it again. So this kind of sky is really begging you to ask for a life of meaning and to ask the universe to show you the way. So, that old prayer, St. Francis of Assisi, make me an instrument of your peace. or the Rumi poem about I'm an arrow in your quiver, shoot me forward to God. He wrote a poem like that. Like, I'm just an arrow in your stack of arrows, but please use me. That's what you should be looking at with this lunation, Leo. It's not just the surface level, because when you sort of give it to God, so to speak, then your life will actually move forward under this sky. So this can be used very proactively in almost a meditative way. You don't have to like just think about it. You could go prayerful, meditative. You could consult the oracle or a guide near and around this lunation and really benefit from that tremendously. Like, not just a little bit either. Like, I'm in a lot. Mercury's the messenger in the dream house, the Asclepian temples. This is where your dreams at night can be extraordinarily useful. Take a dream journal, get taking notes and see what happens. You'll see that Jupiter is with Ops. You can't see Ops. I didn't draw her in, but she's there. She's the asteroid that represents thrival and turnarounds and happiness after a time of difficulty and struggle. This struggle has been very psychological or psychospiritual because it's 12th house, right? This is like, okay, like Jupiter's, yeah, he's still a good guy, but you might have been struggling, having hope, faith, and optimism about the world at large or your own life in particular. So now we see this idea that no, there's a turnaround, and Jupiter talks to that moon and says, we're going to turn it around at the deepest level possible. Mars rules your ancestral line, Jupiter past lives. Some of the turnaround comes through this kind of renewal through your past lives, your ancestors, your family of origin, and really cracking the code on that stuff and moving past it once and for all, where you are no longer burdened by it's like Kamala Harris, that which has burdened you like the school bus or something. But now you unsubscribe because you love Kamala. Everyone, it's just a joke. But your childhood and your past lives are turning a corner with some kind of inner guidance or outer guidance, especially your dreams at night can be very illuminating to clear that way. And being this king of Mount Olympus is to consult someone who's high level in their own guiding power, or you're going to rise to a new throne, so to speak, in your own ability to do ninth house things. That includes international themes, travel, universities, book publishing, but more deeply and truly being on purpose. And you got that lovely Venus transiting your 10th house, which means you're feeling somewhat good and happy about your career right now, maybe even a bit more prosperous. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till the 22nd, 23rd, when she jams herself into Uranus. Yeah, and still squares the star Maiden, I believe. So that's going to be a huge, nice little jolt of financial or career success of some kind. Last thing I want to say about that stellium up there. Mars is your willpower. He's hooked up to Pluto, which is divine willpower moving through your personal willpower. And they're kind of then the divine and personal willpower and motivation and assertion and decisions crash into a wall, 19th and 20th. It's not the end of the world, short-lived. It's a new synodic cycle that lasts 2 years. I'll be doing a video on that. But acute energy around the 18th, 19th, and 20th, just say you're going to hit some kind of obstruction or frustration. That's all. But you want to find an innovative way around, above it, not through it. Like, don't want to crash through the wall. Okay. Just trust me on this, because Saturn's fallen and that wall will cave in around you. So it could be a spiritual belief. It could be a matter of faith. It could be a sibling 2 older than you or 4 younger than you involved in whatever this intensity is. But all said and done, it's short-lived and it's starting a new life cycle, which I'll be doing a video on that's more important than the temporary feelings you have. But the new life cycle will reset your direction in the 9th house over the next 2 years. And we haven't seen that reset button since 1991. Now I'm going to take the lion. I pulled the lion for you. Everyone got a card. And it doesn't surprise me because lioness and lion are you. You are the lion and lioness. Sorry that I give examples. Donald Trump in his hair, J.D. Vance in his beard, Erica Kirk in her hair, Tulsi Gabbard and her white streak in her hair. I rectified her chart after a lot of work. So you'll see your lioness mane or lion mane is always going to be somewhat attractive to the world for the Leo risings. So Leos, you've got the lion. You can't make it up. You are the lion in the zodiac. So what the hell is that, right? That's synchronicity. What does the lion tell you about how to activate this moon? And if you don't like me doing little tarot cards additionally to the astrology now and then, let me know. Sometimes people complain, but I think it's kind of fun. The lion, patient, regal, and a complete master. Yeah, well, yeah, you've got King of Mount Olympus trining you from the 9th house of life purpose. When you're in balance, you are the epitome of peace and strength in the wake of this moon and the months that follow. When you're out of balance, you will be withdrawn and way too serious. And to bring yourself into balance, you need to do daily meditation, and friendships. Well, daily meditation for sure, because this is the house of getting into touch with divine will and intelligence. And you can't do that without that. Meditation, sleep, dreams, or quietude. Alrighty, let's continue forward. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. You've got a stellium in Aries with a new moon in your 8th house. Let's break it down. We haven't seen this kind of stellium since 1991. It's probably going to look a lot like something to do with your inner life, your karmic balancing points, and your sort of soul work, psychological and soul work energies. It hits your moksha houses up, right? 12, 4, and 8. But more importantly, it's also money. Money. But it's chunks of money. It didn't come from your paycheck unless it was a commission bonus performance review check. And so in that regard, it looks like you could come into some financial success under the sky. Financial success is a dawn and a new beginning. It also connects to Manway, it's the bigger picture view. It also connects to the king of Mount Olympus on the sun and Chiron. Now, the downside is sun means father figures. The new moon is going to be a new beginning. Saturn represents an elder. You could also get chunks of money from the mom because the wealthy Jupiter on ops for thrival and abundance in a money house. The 11th house is windfalls or pennies from heaven. It indicates that both from a mother or father figure, you could derive some significant boost to your financial well-being under this kind of lunation, which will unfold over the course of 3 days before, April 17th, 2 to 3 weeks after, but with the emphasis on a longer tail through to about 6 months. The star maiden is witnessing from your house of karmic debt and debts. If you have debts and you want to pay off, or someone owes you money, or there's indebtedness, it could be a sudden positive new direction here. Also, there could be some positive new directions connected to those kinds of unearned income and shared monies that also kind of have a baked in karmic element, like a deservedness, karmic merit. It was always meant to come your way, right? You earned it in other lives by giving to the poor or something like that. The other financial issue in the 8th house is the wall. The new moon happens on the 17th. On the 19th, 20th, Mars hits the Saturnian wall. Well, with Mercury, there can be news that you find challenging, but it also delivers money. The square from Jupiter is prosperity through a difficult circumstance, but you're happy for it. Feels like a windfall. So then we're back to, like, if money comes from a mother figure, it's coming as a kind of Santa Claus moment. But if it comes through a father figure, then that's coming through health, hospitals, and sickness. So we've got 2 ways to do it. A father figure. And that father figures are tricky because it doesn't have to be dad. It could be granddad, great granddad. It could also be your hubby if you look up to them like a dad, if you're a female, or if you're gay, your hubby's older or more like a father figure. So father figures and money through illness and hardship. And so Mercury, the news, but then Saturn, Mars, kind of like a couple of days before the moon and up to 3 days later. Unfortunately, some of you could be coming into inheritances, and Jupiter rules the house of the family of origin. So, and either which way, no matter which system I use, father and mother, Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter are all in the mix here. So some of you get money that way coming off of this new beginning, new moon. So, and if you're older and you're married to people who are older, because Saturn represents the elder, Jupiter rules your spouse. And so then we have widowhood monies or spousal separation monies in a divorce. All of these are possible. Now that sounds like a downer, and I've got like the big picture and the new beginning and thrival after times of difficulty. So it's not a difficulty in the long run, but sometimes circumstances that bring this stuff to us, you might in the short run think it's hard, right? I like, oh, that's too hard. I don't like that. Well, sometimes silver linings come from times of difficulty. That's the best I can give you on that. I'm not here to feed pablum at you at all. That's not my job. In-laws money, okay? Your spouse is going through a very difficult volcanic eruption energy, although it could involve positive financial outcomes. And it could be something going on in their family or your in-laws that leads to this money coming to you. The unexpected or the shocking element of it does come here with Uranus, okay? not on the moon, but Uranus is squaring the star Maiden. And so there could be something like an unexpected opportunity to receive some money and abundance from father figures. Ninth house can be fathers as well. So you got a lot going on with that. Ultimately, if you're in a relationship and your partner's going through a lot of turbulence, North Node, volcano, near and on this moon, the thing I would say is your job in this story, your Mercury, is to focus on the 8th house, right? The 8th house is the money that you share with that person, marriage partner, in-laws, and focus on what you need at a deeper level, because there's a kind of energy in the 8th house where if you go deeper below the surface, Mercury talks to dead people right here. Mercury talks to angels and archangels. Mercury's channeling with Neptune. Listen in for the spirit guides. Listen in for, Bashar or the Galactic Council. Find someone to talk to you, because there is an attempt from the sky to bring some superlative information to you from non-ordinary sources. And if you need to proactively use this sky, especially if you're trying to quit cigarettes or any bad habits, sun rules your addictions house, what a great opportunity for a meditation or a dream or even a hypnosis session that can really help you turn the corner on that as well. So many layers to this. It's not funny. So I'm wishing the best on that. And a card I drew for you is the dolphin. Now, I think the dolphin might be like about having fun. So let's take a look at dolphin. Okay. Dolphin. Girls just want to have fun. Are you having any fun in life? You could come into some money that allows you to enjoy your life. There's a lot of freedom that you might want to acquire here under this kind of sky. Dolphin. So I have to go to the fishy beasts or the water beasts. And now there we go. Look, innately intelligent healer and light blessings. Okay, innately intelligent healer and light blessings. In balance coming off this moon, all right? You are strong. You have a strong spiritual practice. That's the 8th house. That's a moksha house. And you're an active healer. When you're Chiron, the healer, self-healing. When you are out of balance, you underestimate your own power. And to bring yourself into balance connected to this lunation, you want to connect with like-minded spirits. Yes, because we talk to the spirit world in the 8th house. And it says dolphins play an important role in the wheel of karma. The 8th house is a karma house. That coming into contact with a dolphin person will change the course of your life and day. Profound blessings are on the way, says the deck. Wow. I think it's money blessings, but also karmic fracturing and cutting through karmic blockages that you've been coping with and getting the big picture view for the rest of your life. No more of that karmic, tripping up on your karma. This is going to be a very long video, I doth think. So please like and subscribe if you're enjoying all of the hard work I put in here. Your liking and subscribing is a blessing to my life as well. All righty, let's talk about this from Libra's perspective. A new beginning and a new moon. Uh-oh, am I still recording? Yes. Is going to happen in the marriage house. It's an interesting placement. Because these new beginnings in our marriage house or significant long-term love house, our audience and marketplace and who we serve in that regard are usually connected to other people as well, not just you. So your significant audience members, marketplace, people who come to you in your world, maybe your partner, your significant other, they're also having a new beginning with a new dawn. As this new dawn of hope rises with a big picture man way connected to the idea of the king of Mount Olympus and a healing. So for your significant other, Mercury says your significant other can turn corners in addictions. Mercury's talking that story. And also they can turn massive turning point corners in their professional endeavors. Those are thoughts I have looking at the sky. And the new dawn and new beginnings and the king of Mount Olympus may be their story and have nothing to do with you. And you can just witness it from the sidelines. But should you get involved in this and your new partner hitting a wall 2 days after the moon could be a very difficult moment in your relationship. It could be them hitting a frustration point with the dynamic between the two of you, or you and them together hitting the wall in the dynamic between the two of you. So just watch for that energy if you're partnered up in a significant and committed love relationship. Now, Saturn is the ruler of the fourth house of property, home, and real estate, and Mars is hitting the wall. So there could be really big frustrations ongoing for you to do with land, property, and real estate, and explosive energies regarding tenants and tenancies, like rental properties. So that's a theme for some of you that you might experience on this moon, but a deeper archetypal level with Jupiter on thrival and opportunity after times of difficulty in your 10th house, you are opening up a new kind of bouquet of beautiful success. It's like you've got a mansion with a Olympic level swimming pool in your career, and you're like, wow, look at me go. And what does it lead to? How do you harness the seventh house? Well, it depends on what your professional job is, but it could be like you're going to land a big one, like a client who's like, you're in sales and you land the king of a business. You'll land Jeff Bezos or something as a client. You could land a big one in terms of someone in the professional activity sphere connected to clients and audience, and it's going to up level you professionally one way or the other, right? Especially also you could activate allies and benefactors who are in high places of power who want to up-level your level of professional success. In this regards, there may be a pending new business contract or business partnership or new professional offer coming off of this new moon, and it can leapfrog you well above the pay grade level that you currently have in some way. It's almost like you're being well seen in the top of the sky. Jupiter up there, like everyone look at you're on the top of the castle and everyone sees you down below and people are liking what they see. And so opportunities and offers for new professional directions look very likely under the sky. Diana is taking aim from the house of entrepreneurship, along with the star maiden, but there's a deeper meaning to the fifth house, which is also good fortune. It's like, where are you finding this inspiration, enthusiasm, fun, and enjoyment professionally or in your marriage or your clients and audience? Where are you opening up to a new level of purity and innocence and balance in your career through creativity, art, and entrepreneurial endeavors? Or just simply a better enjoyment of your work, especially if you work in and from the home. But all said and done, you're asking the universe to make it an enjoyable path, and you're aiming for that as well. And if you're artistic or creative, you could get some kind of lift here, especially in an international theme. For example, if you wrote a book, you could get a book publishing contract off of this. That's because Mercury rules your ninth house of book publishing. All right, so those are some thoughts I have. I think I might be sugar lowing. I might need an apple. You know what? It's a joke in my channel that I stopped for a chocolate break at Libra, but no, instead of a chocolate break, I'm stopping for an apple. I'll be right back. And I got a card for you, so you thought I was going to forget, right? Yay, Libra, the Lamb of God. I can't help myself. I serve a just God. I can't do Erica. Oh my God, but Drewski's taking hits. But most people support him because, my God, all he did was mimic everything she said. Lamb, peaceful, prophetic, and patient. Peaceful, prophetic, and patient. When you're in balance post-lunation, you have knowingness and inner peace. And when you get out of balance, you are quiet, timid, or concerned, and you need to do meditation. Well, we all need to do meditation. I swear, like who doesn't? Let's get rolling. Back to the game. After we talk to Libra, who's going to be the Lamb of God, we're moving into the sign of Scorpio. Shall we? All right. On the 17th, there's a lunation like we've never seen before. Yes, it's the most important thing of this year, I think. And it's backed up by Mars and Dignity in your sixth house. And we haven't seen this stellium since 1991, with Mars there especially. So major turning points of change are, was it 98 or 91? 1998, sorry. But whatever. Major life turning points are just about to occur in your sixth house. I'll be putting out a Mars video all about this in much more detail coming up. So stay tuned for that. Like, it'll be coming a couple days after this one, I hope, to talk about that Mars conjunction to Saturn. Now, in my view, looking at this myself, if I was in your sky, I'd be thinking about changes in your work. You might want to change your job. You might want to change your career. If you don't, the universe will. Saturn, Mars, there's like a frustration or a wall, and the new moon is happening with Saturn, Mars. And then there's also Chiron. Maybe you've been feeling wounded in your career for quite a few years. You got a jab, but it's not serving your soul. You feel out of touch with your creativity, somehow professional advancement, and you are getting along, but not great. Are you in your zone of mediocrity, excellence, or genius? Those are the kinds of questions you might have been asking about your work for the long while, since 2019. Same with debts, wounds around indebtedness, owing money to others, etc. Credit cards, all of that. Now, this is done in the end of the story. Basically, we're coming to a close on that. Go back to 2023. We had an eclipse in your sixth house. You might connect some dots to March of 23, add, 2 years until now, and see what was going on then and what's going on now. How did things start up then that are now bookending now in your profession, in your work, in your job? Like in 2023, did you start a new job, a new company? What? Go back, think about it. What happened? I think my son started working for PepsiCo and left a telecom company. So you see what I mean? Like that started then. This is a bookend. It's a job and work environment. It's your employees, if you have them, or it's your employment structures, if you're engaged by, a career in which people are your boss, right? So you're getting ready maybe to look at this moon in the 6 months that follow and change your job. In the meantime, on the acute destination of the 17th, you might hit a wall. You might feel like, whoa, like I'm going to quit, or your boss gets fired, or someone changes in the environment. There's changes in the workspace that are very intense. On the other hand, it's a new beginning. It's a new dawn. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's Eos with Mercury. So you're like, gosh, a new beginning is here. Sun rules your 10th house of career. It's with the moon. A new career direction wants to emerge, healing a chironic wound. And the king of Mount Olympus. On the very most positive thing, there's a change of job because you're up leveling. You're moving up to a new level, a new position, a new height in your job. All right, that's the best possible. Jupiter could be a headhunter, human resources, a time of thrival after a time of difficulty. Opportunities emerging from international people and places and things to uplevel your professional success. Jupiter is ruled by the moon. The moon is opening up opportunities for international travel, book publishing, foreign lands, academic successes, and even legal and court matters succeeding for you, especially if it involves lawsuits and debts. Mars is a lawsuit god in a lawsuit house. And so lawsuits prevailing to feature success for you and happy endings after time of travail as a judge likes you a lot, or some determination legally favors you strongly. I do want to say the star maiden for that. Where do you want to, bring some healing to the world? How do you want to entertain a new level of purity? It could be a star, but not in the fourth house. That's your home in dark midnight hour. So you're taking aim from your home and deep within your embedded home. Now, there's a feature of inheritance sort of tucked away in here. Venus, Uranus, Algol, Well Star, the Star Maiden and the arrow flying Diana for the Pluto in the fourth house. Okay. Possibly some of you come into some money of some kind in the week, what follows this lunation. Because the king of Mount Olympus and Chiron and the sun all bundled together can represent an ability to eliminate debt from a parental father figure type person connected to your family of origin. And Mercury says inheritances too. So if an inheritance comes to you, it's a new day, a new dawn. What can you do? It's just how life works. Oh, did I say Venus? No, sorry. Pull it back. Mercury rules your inheritance house, but Venus is going to conjoin Uranus in your seventh house and flow to the family ancestral line, or square it, I should say. I don't know. To me, it looks a little bit like this is such a jumble of planets, right? You got to give me that. It looks like you could come into some money. The house of good fortune has some explosive energy with the North Node. It's all trining Jupiter. There's a bit of like money explosions in a positive way. That's the best I can say. Your significant other, if you're married, right, could also have an explosive bit of money coming their way. That's another option. It may not be your side of the family. It could be coming through the in-laws. But all said and done, there's a little side hustle on that story within your chart. Finally, and you could have some explosive energy connected to long-term committed love with the, 22nd, 23rd pending Venus-Uranus conjunction. Yet at the very same time, the flow from the flowing energy that's happening here with this moon itself, and sextiling Jupiter, maybe they're two separate stories. Your significant other may have an amazingly important, somewhat maybe positive surprise, but I can't say for sure, coming off of this moon as well. The basic thing is if you have money you owe, banks, loans, mortgages, or is owed to you, there should be a nice new beginning, fresh start. And if you don't like your job, new beginning, fresh start. And if you're thinking in any which way that you might want to, change your home, yes, only if you're going to do a rental property. So if you want to rent your property out or move your home and rent a home out, those features are very strong coming off this new beginning, new moon. It's the deepest level. This new moon is very positively renewing something. So where you need to have hope after times of difficulty and where you've been feeling like, you've been through a travail or difficult circumstance. It's so funny. My son I'm not going to get into the details regarding his passport issues, but he could finally get his frigging passport from the Canadian government 2 years later. He needs to go to the Vancouver Sun or something and have them write about it. It's ridiculous. He's had he's Canadian, guys. All right. So I drew a strange card for you. I don't think I've ever drawn the hyena from this deck. So now I'm searching for the hyena. So I'm flowing through the book. It's hyena. And Lord Almighty, there it is. All right. You're getting a hyena card. How do you go through this lunation? With humor, wit, and sarcasm? It's a jokester card. All righty. When this card appears, it's time to reflect on your reliance on humor and sarcasm to express your truth. Oh, it's when you override life's challenges by making a joke about it. Are you hiding resentments or challenges, through laughter and humor? What would happen if you took your goals seriously? For you, as professional goals. Okay, and this guy says, what would happen if you took your professional goals seriously? And when you're in balance, you are charming, witty, and fun to be around. And out of balance during this lunation, you're petty, suspicious, and scrappy. And to be in balance entertains sobriety. And sobriety doesn't have to be about alcohol. It's about being serious about life, right? Are you going to take your career seriously, your work and your job seriously? Again, read the book, The Leap, and find out if you're in your zone of mediocrity, excellence, or genius professionally, because part of that for you is what this might be about, Scorpios. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Fire trine, flow, the house of good fortune as a new moon, new beginnings beginning for you in the 5th house, unlike anything we've seen in decades, and a new dawn and a new beginning. Now, Sag, this is in romantic love or relationships to your children or conception and fertility, also creativity, art, and entrepreneurial stuff. All of that is under a big renewal, a big new beginning. Mars is here with Saturn, not seen in this sign for a long time, 1998 maybe. And this combination is going to reset you for 2 years as well. We'll be doing a whole video on that. But it can, if you're single and you want to find a relationship, and some of you may not give a flying fuck, but if you want a relationship, this is a new beginning in romantic love, and a new dawn is arriving, and a big picture view is available to you. And there's an sort of King of Mount Olympus energy going on in the romance house. It's good for entrepreneurship because new moon, new beginning, Mars, ambition, drive, and dignity. You're very competitive here, and you could be the king of a new business if you want to start your own business. And this is a real healing here around creativity, entrepreneurship, and romance, as well as fertility and children. And I like this for the artist in you. If you have an inner artist, of course, some of you don't. But I mean, this kind of fire, initiative, excitement, Mercury, Neptune, vision, visionary ability, imagination are highlighted for the creative, artistic ones. If you want to work in acting, performing, this is going to give you opportunities too. That's especially true with Neptune here. Or photography or modeling. These are places of great ambitious success that could occur. This is going to be a story that this moon opens doors of opportunity in that area, if that's what you're looking for. At the very same time, we have this idea that the star Maiden is in the third house. Now that's literal. Like Donald Trump has star Maiden in the third house, and that's because he's got a star presence in the media, right? He was The Apprentice, and media exposure is the third house. If there's something you do as an artist, a performer, or anything, entrepreneur, and you want to be well known and be a star in the social media or mainstream media settings, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you're Sagittarius with strivings in that direction, this could open up really big, exciting opportunities for you. And you may have been going through a time of difficulty that now doors are opening up for you. And it's financial doors. It's like, okay, I've been worried about my money, my bank loans, my 401k, my mortgages or whatever. And now like Jupiter opens up opportunity and thrival, and after times of hardship and that kind of money, it all does flow to the fourth house of your family of origin, mom and dad. So there is a possibility that there, with an explosive energy, the family legacy wealth may explode into your life. A parent does a living trust, or, you know, says, I'm giving you the house or whatever, but there could be that kind of surge as well. If you've been dealing with like tension in your life around a separation or divorce situation, this is going to favor you in a beautiful way and allow for you to like extricate from that in a sudden, exciting way, allowing for the potential of coming out on top, who gets the house, you do, that kind of thing, who gets the biggest sofa, you do. And I want to mention that the fifth house is where you are inspired. What does the word inspire mean? Inspirited, filled with spirit. If you've been losing the inspiration for life, the joy and fun and pleasure of life, this is going to be a renewal of that stuff for you. Okay. If you're single, I mean, Venus is in a house that precedes commitment, the sixth house. It can be a dating house. And also she's in a debt elimination. So ability to eliminate debts, clear the slates on debts, but also could open up a door of surprising, exciting new dating opportunities and romantic love. Mercury is the ruler of your commitment house and the house of romance. And so it's a new dawn and a new day. So single Sagittarius in particular are going to be finding love off of this moon. And it could happen in the 6 months that follow, 3 days before, 3 weeks after, or even the longer 6-month tail of every new beginning that a new moon represents. And I don't want to oversell this for you. It's like I'm overselling this romance story for you, which I might be, but I think it's going to be a very possible thing for singletons, because this guy lines up for kind of a really profound energy around love, hitting a bit of a wall, maybe, the 17th to the 20th with Saturn Mars collision. And so you might want to notice that you could have a frustration with a child. You could be hitting a roadblock in an existing romantic love story. You could be feeling like you need to slow down on your entrepreneurial creative endeavors because you're just overworking it. Your competitive instincts hit a wall. There's just some kind of moment there. A child in your life hits a wall. The wall is temporary, 17th to the 20th, but it's also a reset of a new synodic cycle. We'll be doing a separate video on that as well. It's very rare, but you're definitely going to look at this shorter time frame off the new moon as indicating many of the things that I suggested are possible here. And the moon is also the owner of that Jupiter. So there's some chunky money that wants to show up for you. There really is. So get ready to see some money stories turn around or look really good for you in the wake of this lunation. It's not a one and done, right? It's over time. You have the elk. Well, that's very fiery elk, right? The big horns, and it's got like a kind of a eclipse looking energy behind it. Speaking of eclipses, what happened with love, romance, entrepreneurship, creativity, your children, back in April of 23, because we had an eclipse at near the same degree. So it's a bookend, there's a bookend here. Let me get the elk up for us. Give me a sec. Good old elk. I noticed that none of you are replicating each other's cards. How interesting. Elk, elk, elk. Yeah. All right. I know elk's such a regal beast, right? Like a reindeer. Stable, resilient, headstrong, and the father. Well, you have the father Zeus, the emperor Zeus in your fifth house. Wow. Good for your art, creativity, entrepreneurship, romance. All right. So basically it's about support and stability in life's many changes. And it's about core values. And it's about watching your ego doesn't get inflated. And it's about good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. Well, lovers for singletons for sure. When in balance, you are supportive, kind, and consistent as this moon unfolds. And out of balance, you get high and mighty or pretentious. And to be staying in balance, yes, this makes sense. Eat and drink more consciously. What you put in your mouth is ruled by Saturn in the house of pleasure. This could be a hard stop on food pleasures and on addictions. And I want to go back to that. Mars rules your addictions, 12th house, and Saturn rules your what you put in your mouth house. So this moon could really trip you into a serious change of pace on food style and addictions, and just a hard stop. Okay. And because you got transpersonal willpower hooked up with from Pluto, this is a time which you do try to quit. You can, but you might want to quit through finding a social or local community of people who are engaged in the same endeavors. Yeah, that could be AA, but I'm just saying that's what it looks like. All right, we have 3 more signs left, and I've got 15 more minutes maximum. Got a girlfriend coming for dinner. Alrighty, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. You got a very intense energy in your 4th house. You haven't seen this for decades, and it's going to be a reset button for 2 years. We'll be doing a video on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Come on, are you going to move? I'll give you 9 out of 10 of you are relocating. Now, in the next 2 years for sure, that's another story. But this moon is a catalyst. And so a new beginning and a fresh start, King of Mount Olympus energy, Manway, the big picture, the bird's eye view, a new dawn, a new day, Eros, Mercury, information or news or commercial transactions and agreements. Mercury rules your rental house property. You could be moving connected to a rental property. When? Well, certainly there's things going on around the moon itself, April 17th, but the moon can even flow all the way through to a month later, and then even longer, 6 months. So it just stimulates a move. Go back to March of 2023 and a location of living. What happened then with the eclipse? This is a bookend. So things that went on in March of 2023 become a bookend for a new location change. So go back and look at that time, March of 23, add several months, it was an eclipse. Now you're doing a secondary version of it. The Star Maiden is in your house of money, possessions, and earnings and resources. She is very powerful energy, and it's like purity and virginal, but also wanting to do something to help humanity. And I covered it in the beginning, cosmic justice in a money house with Diana, the bow and arrow huntress. Take aim with a lofty goal to help humanity, financially use that energy. With Pluto talking to Mars, any kind of move seems to involve some kind of money and willpower and moving all seem to be intertwined here. And it's possible because Mercury rules your house of job. This could involve a job. And if it does, it feels like good fortune because all of a sudden you luckily got a job. Moving can also be connected to rental properties and sex and romantic love and or committed love. Now, Jupiter is in your 7th house of committed love. He's ruled by the new moon in the 4th house. Venus is in the romance house and rules the 10th. So there may be movements in the next 6 months to moving connected to romance, committed love, could involve movements towards cohabitation, engagements and weddings and marriages. All of that's in this chart. A lot is going on. Like you got to go back to 2023 March. What was going on in your home with the people you live with at your home? A lot of change here, guys. A lot of change. And if you're wanting to move your home, it's maybe in concert with either business partner opportunities, new job opportunities, or relationship reasons. And that change of home is 90% likely, but not always true, to be more connected to rentals. The new moon, new beginning, 4th house. Well, Zeus is like the king of the Olympian mountaintop in the 4th house. It might be very literal to perch yourself high up, to go to a new home, which you have a vista, Manway, a bird's eye view. So you're not going to be sitting on the beach, right? We're talking about being at above sea level or being able to look down at something, right? Being on an edge of a mountain or being in a high rise or something like that, where you can get a big view. Picture of things. With Neptune, it could be a view of a pond, an ocean, a river, or a sea, but that's the vibe down here. I want to hear back from you guys what's going to happen because this is exciting. The moon on the 17th will not necessarily give it to you on the 17th. It catalyzes this new direction. It moves you in that direction. Now, in the long-term committed love house, you have ops with Jupiter, and Jupiter is, Jupiter likes to get people married here or committed or move into a new place together. He had been backtracking retrograde. Last year, he was square Saturn. It was pretty gnarly, but now he's direct. He's not directly squaring anything in a tight orb. And he's on ops, the opportunity after time of great difficulty and travail in committed long-term love. Now there is a new horizon and a new beginning and a new dawn, Eos Mercury. And so there's either a relationship that's coming that feels like a new horizon, that feels like that sunrise is coming to your love life and your committed life. And you'll have Jupiter here until the end of June. So it doesn't have to be about April only. Or a relationship that's already here is going to rise up to a new level of power and success within your, love stories. You could win some money, but it's not directly connected to the moon. It's Uranus and Venus on the 21st, 22nd, conjoining forces in a conjunction to the 23rd and on a well star. Okay. So I'm not going to put that out of your story. It is something that could happen here. You could come into a lucky break, a financial win. And Venus is quite capable of delivering that if it's something that you're karmically entitled to. But a turbulence in your third house here with the sea monster and all of that, and the North Node, that's like your local environment, neighbors, cousins, aunts, uncles, local people in the local environment, kind of a turbulent energy, a toss and turn, explosive energy. Maybe moving is connected to that. Local disturbances. You don't want to live near the local energy or the neighbor energy or, the people, siblings, some big explosive energy regarding siblings. Maybe connected to money as well. All right. But it could also turn out in the end to look like good fortune. So there's lots of ways to parse this. You don't have to look at it as negative or positive. It's both. It's one and both and both and one. Funny enough, I just got 2 cards coming out at once for you. I don't like when that happens. And it means I have to read 2 cards, but hang in there. I got the cheetah and the lizard stuck together. So I guess you guys are the lucky break today. Lizard first, cheetah next. Sound good? I'm now have to bending over on my broken mic. Cheetah. I know cheetahs are fast running. Let's start with cheetah. Cheetah, solar force, action, achievement, and masculine energy. Well, yeah, I got Zeus in the 4th house in the fire sign. Look for frustration. Mars conjoins Saturn. Look for frustration or hitting a wall or a stop, or you can't get going fast enough. Like you feel like you got your full pedal to the metal, but your car is only going 30 miles an hour. Do you want to cut away or end or move or change your home? You could have a major fight with someone you live with, or you'd have a termination of a situation, like the end of a situation of residency, like a termination, like your lease expires or your roommate tells you to leave. I don't know, something like that. And that's going to be, you'll feel it on the new moon, 17th, and it's pretty exact by the 20th already. It's also a big cosmic 2-year reset button, and we'll do a video on that. So look for some reason to move being critically obvious to you around the 17th to 21st. So cheetah is that masculine action energy. It basically says it's about having purpose and passion for fuel and momentum. And if you don't have purpose or passion, don't start running yet. And it says in balance, you achieve anything and you have boundless energy, and impatient and competitive energies are your downfall, and you need to reconnect to your purpose. Now, I did get for you the lizard, so I won't ignore it. All right. I don't like reading 2 cards because I want to have dinner with my girlfriend, but you're going to get the lizard because the lizard came out and I'm here to serve. Justice, a just Lord. I just can't get enough of how cartoonish that whole thing is. I'm talking Kirk, Erica. All right, lizard. Instinctual, sensitive to the subtle dreamer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go watch Drewski's, 60 million view, spoof comedy about her, and now she's suing him. He's a comedian. Lizard, instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, and a dreamer. To keep yourself in balance post-lunation, it's about being artistic, telepathic, and spiritual. And out of balance, you are flaky and non-committal and elusive, non-committal. A cheetah's not non-committal. Cheetah's racing for it. And you might want to get a creative project going for balance. And big crowds and lots of overstimulation will drain your magical lizard essence, right? So big lights in bright city, pull back, return to your inner artist. It's been whispering your name. Hopefully for both of those cards, it made sense for a lot of you guys. All right, almost done. We're moving into the sign of, thank God I charged my laptop. All right, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. This is the most important lunation of the year. There is a new moon, a new beginning in your 3rd house. This is exceptionally potent. I haven't seen a stellium like this in decades, a new beginning and a new dawn in the house of writing, teaching, communicating, marketing and selling, social media, and entrepreneurial business enterprise under the sky. Mercury is involved. He rules your fifth. So you're starting something new. There's something that new that wants to emerge, a new dawn and a new beginning with the king of Mount Olympus here. So if you are a teacher, a writer, an entrepreneur, a seller, or marketer, if you engage in media or social media spaces, these are areas of a fresh new beginning. Watch for the wall. Going to hit the wall around the 17th to the 20th with the Mars conjunction to Saturn. It's okay. It's a teaching lesson. Get your helium balloon and go over the wall, not into the wall. It could be just a burnout moment, but it could also be a very decisive moment of clarity. And because we have the king of Mount Olympus with chironic healing of this wound that you've had, and I love the idea that Mercury and Neptune are close together. Your imagination and visionary ability and your way of thinking have become extremely mystical and very, very available to higher level influence from beyond this realm. So all of that kind of congeals around the 17th. It is important under this kind of a moon to notice that you have the star maiden in your sign at the fame degree. Now, I don't want to tout my Aquarian horn, but it would be nice if I got famous and rich, and then I could just retire or found a rich love partner, soulmate. But I don't have that yet, so I work a lot. So I think that the star maiden here is where you want to apply your energies, Aquarians, all of us, sun, moon, and rising, sun, career, energy, rising sign, your personal nature of being in this world, your mask and your persona, and of course, moon, your home and nest and emotions. The star maiden is telling us that we are wanting to be virginal and pure. We appreciate cosmic and karmic justice, but we also want to be the last god of Mount Olympus to serve humanity. Downside of star maiden, she sticks with something to the very bitter end. And there could be both messages are true. Where have you persevered in something to the bitter end? And maybe it's no longer worth your time in teaching, marketing, selling, writing, or communicating, or social media. Like my YouTube channel belongs to the third house. What else can you say? You've got this energy of Diana, and you want to take aim. You're the huntress. Get your bow and arrow and let God point you in the right direction. The quiver. I love that Rumi poem. And so, be the arrow for God to shoot at something. Don't let yourself get weighed down by the intensity of the sky. Futility, frustration, and maybe exasperation can be a feeling with Mars bumping into Saturn around the 17th to 20th. Something good is on the other side of that wall. Let that time pass. You'll see what I mean. You really will. Should you by any chance, under the sky, see Jupiter, time of difficulty, Ops is with him. I did draw her in. You have opportunity, thrival, growth, and happiness after a time of difficulty in the sixth house. Sixth house is a lot of things. It's the work you're doing in the world. It's your health. It's your pets. It's your rental properties. I'm moving to a new rental property. The travail of the heat, no AC, and the sirens, right? Happy ending is coming. I already got the place set up for June. But this is like, okay, here comes the happy ending, but it's intertwined with the third house. So it can be the changes of your home, a new pet, a rental opportunity, new work conditions or work situations, new employees, new employment structures. Mars rules your 10th house. Employment structures lead to a new dawn and a new beginning and a fresh start. And it includes a fresh start in your health connected to addictions, because Saturn rules your addictions and Jupiter is your health. And the third house is a turning point as well. I want to mention truly, there's a bit of that shock and awe of a volcano with a north node in your second house. Now, volcanic is explosive energy, right? So something explosive, but also trining Jupiter in your finances can be very positive if the money is connected to work. And with Mars, lots of activation of careers ongoing here from the third house. Mercury rules your house of good fortune. That includes lottery wins. Saturn rules your house of hospitals. I just put a lottery win in hospital. I got a lottery ticket for the Children's Hospital in Vancouver. I could probably win, and I'll let you guys know that. Could say, okay, because the draw is coming up in early May. Maybe that's going to spin out a lottery win. That would be lovely. Then I could just do what I wanted, which will still be YouTube, but not as hardworking astrologer on YouTube. I want you guys to know I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about how it might feel for you too, right? You're an Aquarius. What are you doing in that third house? Are you writing, communicating, marketing, selling, or teaching or learning? Are you getting fatigued? Are you ambitious, but you're also wondering if you need a new start or a fresh beginning? Manway, get the big picture view. The moon will give you the big new beginning picture view of how to be the king of Olympus in this part of your chart without wearing yourself down. You need to be on purpose, inspired by purpose, says Saturn. He's fallen from the purpose place. He wants to write a book and get it published. Trust me, Saturn in the house of writing, fallen, owner of the publishing house of the ninth house, Mercury, the writer in the story. It's literally there, even if you're not me. All right. Because that's my story. Fourth house looks good, right? It looks like, yeah, you have some pleasure, some enjoyment, some love in the house. That's going on. But as we move closer to about the 20th, just after this moon, you're going to notice there's like a nice little shock on. Oh, surprise, is that Venus and Uranus combine in the fourth house of home, property, land, and real estate and square you and that star Maiden Diana. So there's some kind of major blow of positivity or change connected to home, property, land, and real estate. Because I work from home, if you work from home and you use the online social media, you could go viral under this influence. It's something you're putting out into the world in the third week of April, for example. All said and done, though, you're looking at taking the third house, which is your ideas, your mind, your what you do when you communicate to other people, and starting something different and something new. If you always wanted to study something, this could send some of you back to school or for the first time off to education on something that you're passionate about and that you wish to execute as a direction professionally. So you'll go sign up for a course or apply for a school. But this would be very good for you because whatever it is that you start anew in the days, weeks, and months after this new beginning, this is good for you. It will put you on a path that you're enjoying professionally by learning something new. I remind you that on March the 23rd, 2023, March 23rd, just March of 2023, we had an eclipse at the same place this new moon is happening. What that means, simply, is that things that occurred in the third house, which I just delineated, media, social media, writing, communicating, started then, and now we're at bookending now. If I use me as an example, in spring of 2023 was the beginning of my YouTube channel taking off, even though I've been doing it since 2019, right? So that's an example. That was the beginning of a beginning for me. So similarly, you might have something like that occur. And now you've got a bookend for a renewal on the lease or something fresh and something different. I think some of you are going to get a pet off of this too. Not right away, but in the months that follow, I see pet signatures with Jupiter, Venus, Uranus activations here. I drew a card for you. You got the hawk. Well, that's Manway, the big picture view, right? The hawk. Let's read the hawk for you. Sorry, it takes a while to drag it out of this book. Crow, vulture, hummingbird, bee. Let me put this down. Watchful, all-seeing, messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk, watch every move, keen-eyed bird. Fate has, when its card comes up, fate has its eyes on you, fellow Aquarians, and the winds are shifting. It's said that the hawk carries news upon its wings. Well, there's news there because Mercury and Manway are together. News on its wings, and it is sent from divinity itself to deliver the news. The message should not be taken lightly. Though it may seem small or insignificant, it will eventually redirect your course on this new moon. So when you're in balance, you see clearly and you are intuitive, and out of balance, you see too much and you're suspicious. And this balancing point will bring you into a huge perspective shift on the new moon. And by the way, the third house is your mind, right? So how you think about things. So perspective shift makes sense, doesn't it? Last but not least, best and always best, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. I remember when I first started my channel, you guys got pissed off when I said last but not least. All right. I just need to find a comfort zone here. I'm going to be moving into my new place with an ergonomic chair. I'm on a sofa. Alrighty. If you're a Pisces, sun, moon, and rising, are you okay? Because North Node, Volcano, and Gong, you might be feeling a lot of turbulence, and we just had a Virgo eclipse directly across from you. So on March 3rd. So all you Pisces, take a deep breath with me now. Because You might be going through some serious emotional turbulence or feeling that way anyway, a little bit anyway. Now, when we look at the new beginning, it's a money house. New beginnings in your earnings, resources, finances, money, possessions, movable possessions, and dietary habits and styles and facial appearance. This new beginning, fresh start, has a surgeon in there. Don't get surgery right now. Mars is going to collide into even dental work. Don't do it right away. Saturn-Mars collision around the 20th might not be the best time for your dentist to be working on you. Trust me, or any facial surgery. But if you have to have it for cancer, do it. But otherwise, if it's rejuvenation facial stuff, I wouldn't go there with a 10-foot pole until you get Mars past Saturn, which is after the 21st. Now, in the meantime, look, you got a new dawn and a new beginning in your earnings, money, and resources. It's that simple. Mercury is the god of commercial success, marketing, selling, buying. We got a beautiful new beginning, Manway, the big picture's opening up. And best of all, the chironic wound about money, earnings, and resources that's been bothering the heck out of you ever since 2019, or your facial appearance, or your teeth problems, or your face problems, that's going away. That is completely done. One and done. Finito. Adios. Because we have Chiron leaving this part of your chart next year for good. But this is going to take you back to money issues, earnings issues, and dietary issues, right? Connected to things that may have began on the eclipse of March the 23rd of March of 2023. Think of you, money, earnings, and resources, spring of 23, or your face, or your teeth, and your diet, and think about this is a bookend. This is somehow connected. This is not without its twinedness to the eclipse that happened in the spring of 23 at about a year, because it was a solar eclipse. Indeed, that eclipse that happened back then and is bookending now is also strongly connected in this chart to you opening up the potential of being an emperor of your money. What does it feel like to be a king of your money, to be on the Olympian mountaintop in terms of your resources? That's your earnings, that's your possessions. I own a car, I own a house, I own a sofa, movable possessions. This is the house of your self-worth and self-esteem. Can you level up to the king of your own self-worth and self-esteem? This is your voice, therefore your vocation and your calling. Can you level up to being the king of your vocation and your calling? I say, yes, you can. You'll notice that as the stellium is building, there's that frustration point around the 19th, 20th, as Mars barreling forward ambitiously. He's entrepreneurial and self-starter in the second house, crashes into the Saturnian wall. Might be a moment of overwhelming frustration or fear or anxiety around finances around that time. It's not meant to trip you up. It's meant to teach you something. Allow yourself to go over this wall, not through it. Take a helium balloon, float above it, and to get the big picture view from Manway. Because if something trips you up on the money front, for example, or the teeth or the face or the dietary habits, including under this sky, quitting an addiction. Saturn rules addictions. Mars says quit, right? What you put in your mouth or your nose. If you have a trip up moment, you're going to get back on. You'll get off the wagon and on the wagon right away. Just it's teaching you a lesson. Take a big picture view. Look at your motive for the addiction. Why are you doing it? Like, what are you escaping from? Unless it's a biochemical addiction, which is really rare. Right, 10% of people are addicted at a morphine biochemical enzyme reason for alcohol. Everyone else has an emotional reason for forming the addiction to alcohol. So you're going to have a major change of perspective, a big picture view on substances you ingest that aren't good for you, and you're going to get back on top of it. Jupiter is giving you happy endings after times of difficulty in the house of good fortune with ops. Jupiter is opening up, because he's ruled by that moon, the possibility of this new beginning looking like new love, new romance, new just good fortune in general, new pleasure and enjoyment of life, because you've been going through a time of difficulty. It can open up opportunities, though, for good news that you're going to be a grandparent, right? That you're going to, Mars rules your grandchildren. So you could find, oh my gosh, my God, my oldest child was done with babies and could never conceive. And now after a time of travail, they're pregnant and I'm going to be a grandparent, and everyone's enjoying the good news. And it could be a little unexpected because of Uranus, Venus in your third house, right? You might not have seen it coming. Mercury brings lots of opportunities to possess things from your home. So for your home, right? Like a computer or something, or a sofa, but also a possession is a home. So you could possess a new home. not on the day of the moon, no possess a new home on the day of the moon, but buying a home is something that some Pisces might have occur, or moving into a home that you can financially afford in the months that follow this new moon of the 17th of April. Now, don't forget, this new moon, is a reset button for 2 years. It's really going to change your way of making money over the next 2 decades, starting on the 20th of the month. We'll be doing a video on that, explaining it to you a lot more and helping you work with it. But it's pretty exciting because it is a new beginning in finances for you. We haven't seen that restart button here. Memory serves me, 1998. Memory serves me. I maybe not exactly. Diana, taking aim. And the star maiden, right? This is really good, as I said, for addictive habits, self-defeating patterns. If you have any money wounds connected to childhood, Mercury rules your childhood. This is your karmic vows of poverty and chastity. If I'm wealthy, God doesn't love me. You know what I mean? If I'm rich, my parents reject me because they were poor. Where are you with that stuff? If you haven't healed your childhood or ancestral or karmic wounds around wealth and money, this is going to be a turning point for you, where you look below the surface and particularly look to father figures for how you adopted an inappropriate approach growing up to how you see your self-worth and value and your ability to earn and make money. Because for a lot of you, there's a major turning point coming off of this new moon. It started a little bit with that eclipse in March of 23, and now it's going full bore. We got Zebra. Hang on. Let's pull out Zebra. Zebra. Your card today is Zebra. And this could be a 2-hour video. I think I might be more than 2 hours. If you like me going long like this, which I didn't mean to, but please like and subscribe. This is what happens when you have 11 hours sleep. You have enough energy to go this long. You would think a zebra would be in the same section as a horse, right? Seriously. But I'm not seeing it. Earth. I think a zebra is an earth animal. Buffalo, lamb, elk, horse, deer, wolf, spider. Nope. I don't know why she put zebra somewhere else. Well, hang in there, guys. If I can take the time to look for it, you can take the time to wait, right? I really don't know where she put the zebra. Just know it's not a flying ant. There it is. All right. A zebra is, for you, the new moon says, these are your messages. Eccentric, creative, and visionary. You want to be those things in this lunation energy. Being young at heart, have curiosity about life, expand your worldview, have a blast, contribute to global health, environmental and volunteer work even. When you're in balance under this energy, you have worldly, enthusiastic energies, and you are fashion forward. But, Venus is your Lord and she's in Taurus. So I could tell you one thing, this new moon will catapult you to go out and buy a better wardrobe. Trust me, you'll see what I mean. Venus with Uranus, you might go outside the box. You said you'd never wear this kind of outfit, and now you're going to go out and hit the local stores or the online shopping and wardrobe up. That's what that would look like. When you're out of balance, you are jaded and you're vain and you are pouty. And to bring yourself into balance, you guys, Venus exalts you. So it's kind of funny with the fashion. She's your exaltation lord of fashion. When you bring yourself into balance, you need an epic adventure and you need to do some art. All right, that's what I got for you. Mercury is definitely changing your money story. Some of it could come through your spouse, by the way, if you're married. All right. Just because Mercury rules the spousal house. All right, that's what I have. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I normally could do an outro, but not after 2.5 hours of talking. I'll see you guys on the next video. This is coming out on a Thursday. I'm recording it Tuesday, March the 31st. Oh, sorry. This is coming out on a weekend on the 5th of the month. And I'll have a Monday drop about the week ahead astrology. Stay tuned for that. I put out videos usually every Thursday. Sunday, Monday minimum, and there's often extras as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take very good care and have a wonderful, most powerful lunation of the year. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling about this one. I do read my comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe.
Lunatic astrology.